Ain't touch you, chill.
Might as well.
But what I did want to talk about is every time I come around your city, bling bling. Hey. Jonathan Kuminga MVP, bling bling. Let's go. Kuminga. What was all that talk we was talking about yesterday? It's time to turn the season around. I'm a bandwagoner.
Hey, I'm right there with you.
Mars, you better not make your face like that neither, Mars. You the biggest front runner up here, so you better not make your face like that, Mars.
I joined 22 win Houston. That's the opposite of front running.
No, it's not, because you about to jump off that shit. You are so about you about to jump. In fact, it's days. We're days away from you jumping off that shit.
The trade deadline's Thursday. If
so
the
what shift
though? Still intact, I'm gonna still be in Houston.
If Jalen Green is traded, you are out. You made that clear. So you already jumping off
the
that
trade
shit.
deadline's Thursday, man. They got 2 days to make good decisions, and I'll still be there. Oh.
But if they don't,
then hello, OKC.
Okay, that's the front.
Wow, Mars, that really Mars. You really could do anything but OKC. Like you could do the Orlando Magic.
Why?
You could even do the Knicks because the OKC is the best young roster. It's like,
but I've been talking about OKC since before they were the number 1 seed. I'm not being.
Can we talk about my Warriors?
Let's get on that for a second.
Can we talk about my Warriors?
I don't want to talk about.
Don't win too. The Warriors are out of here too.
Yeah, the Warriors are whack. Let's get on the fact that Steve Kerr.
I hate your Warriors.
Somebody actually put in Steve Kerr's ear that this kid you got on your bench, take the clamps off and turn him loose. Stop playing.
Which one?
Kuminga.
Santos?
Turn this kid loose.
Which one? Which one did he turn? All the young studs? Hey, Klay, listen, man. If you're going to have this coming to whatever moment and you're going to take a back seat and just be a decoy, let's go. I like that. Just be a decoy, Klay. We all think you're going to shoot it. Just make the extra. You ain't got the legs no more. You just slow down on defense. Santos. I'm a Warriors fan now, man. And get them young kids involved, man. Yesteryears, Draymond, Klay, all you guys got to do is just be reliable. You guys are vets. You can do that in your sleep.
I mean,
let's go.
Let's have a 40 million decoy. Yeah, that's what we want. 40 million.
It is what it is, though. That doesn't mean force it.
But Mars, wait. Mars,
contract's already been signed.
And not only that, Mars, don't he come off the books after this year? So it's not like he's on the books for 3 more years. So we only got him for half the season.
They're gonna extend him. 3 years, 90 million.
A legacy contract. 40's done for the franchise. A legacy contract.
I mean, if he continue to play like this, yeah. If he continue to play like this, if he take a back seat, they're gonna reward him. But if Klay go out there, I don't know.
It doesn't look like the transition
last night. Last night is the reason Klay Thompson should play 5 minutes a game.
5 minutes.
5 is strong. Maybe 20.
He's bad.
You can give it 20 minutes. 5 is crazy.
No, he's gonna gain confidence.
Let me put it this way. Remember when Duncan Robinson got his contract?
Yeah.
And then he was one of the worst players in the NBA.
Yeah.
Right.
That's Klay Thompson right now for double the money.
Man, I mean, I'm not mad at that
comparison. No, that's not true. That's not true. Yo, the boogeyman, the perception of what Klay can do on any given night is going to go a long way, and he's not going to play like this the entire year. All he has to do is go out there and let the game come to him. That is it. We don't need you forcing nothing, Klay. We don't need any ill-advised shots. And you got to sit on the bench. You probably should come off the bench just so you can sit back, see the flow of the game, see who to try and who not to try, because you starting, that's obviously not it. But you coming off the bench,
Shaq,
now you're Ginobili.
But Shaq, the problem with that is that if you see Klay's body language, Klay really think that he still got the goods. He thinks he's in a slump right now and he can shoot himself out of this if you just played him more, if you allowed him to just rock a little bit more.
That's what you're seeing in the post game?
No, I was going to say post-game interview, I think he has a realization that he's not that guy anymore. That's what I was getting to. On the one hand, this is what he looks like. He thinks in his head that he can still do what he used to be able to do. But it looks like he's coming to the realization that now I'm not what I used to be. I'm not that. But if you give me an opportunity, maybe I can still do it. Maybe I could still do it. But when you got young guys, Kuminga, Jackson, Pods, when you got young guys, what is the normal process?
Usher out these old dudes and get the young dudes in here and see what we got with these guys. But instead, it's because it's Klay, because it's Steph, because these dudes are still Dre, these dudes are still here. You guys are still holding on to the logic that we can still do it when it's obvious that Klay doesn't have what he used to have. It's obvious.
But they're getting off that, though. They're getting off that. Like, that was a turning moment. The post game set it all for me. At least he's going to try for another 5 to 10 games. All you need is one game like that to galvanize the troops. The young guys are on board, and then you got these experienced vets. You guys can easily make the playoffs. And if Steph gets hot in the playoffs, and if Klay gets hot in the playoffs, it's game time. I'm a Warriors fan, all on the young guys. All on the young guys.
Hold on, wait. So Shaq.
Ron, don't get sucked into this. Don't get sucked into this, Ron.
Any further?
This
Chill.
is
No,
nonsense.
I gotta figure out if my friend is sucked into this.
He is. You can hear him. You can hear him. He's on the hook.
Know.
He already wrote the check. He already wrote it.
Jonathan Kuminga got a lot of people going a little crazy. Kuminga got a lot.
It was because of you, though, yesterday, Chill, when you asked me and Ron that question, if they could turn this around, and I got to thinking. I was like, man, probably not. Then I wake up this morning, pull up the NBA app. I'm over here. So I'm waking up at 6 a.m. It's still 11, in New York.
Right.
I'm doing the scroll through. All right, let me go to Free Dawkins real fast. Let me go see what they was talking about. Let me go see these defensive rotations and how these young boys is out here moving. And then I see my homie Pods, and I'm like, yo, you get that 3 up to 40%, you already rebound your butt off. You could be real deal out here. Yes or no?
Yes.
I mean, we might want to hit the break a little bit with
Santa Clara Project.
Kuminga, I think, is definitely going to be, quality NBA player, going to be a quality piece. Pause. Let's hit the brakes a little bit. Let's put some more games underneath. We've seen a lot of players get hot for 5-10 game stretches. We see it all the time. Let me see this throughout, next half of the season.
Jalen, when you watch Pause, what are you looking at? Because I love him in Golden State. I love him.
I think he's good, but I think he's a guy who's been given, he's been given an opportunity, more minutes, more usage, given more shots. And I see maybe Dante DiVincenzo. That's Dante DiVincenzo.
No, he's clear DiVincenzo.
Better rebounder. He Kyle Lowry, but better rebounder.
But that's what you want. Next to Steph, next to Kuminga, next to Andrew Wiggins, next to Draymond, next to whatever form of Klay you're getting. That's what you want. You don't. I mean, obviously, you want Paz to be as good as he could possibly be, but as long as he's solid, making plays, rebounding, defending, that is perfect. That is
on that
perfect.
team.
Yeah.
You can't ask for
and this is the same thing that's plaguing Zach LaVine, and I don't mean to jump, but, bro, Zach LaVine hasn't been in a good situation since he came into the league. He's worth every single penny of that max contract. Every single penny. You telling me if he was in Denver doing what MPJ's doing in the corner, he can't do that and bring you more?
Zach LaVine?
Because he can. Zach LaVine,
Denver,
yes.
Sure. On Denver, he can play the role. Yeah, for sure.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we're looking at Zach LaVine like he's a 1, and I hate that for him because he's not a 1. At UCLA, he wasn't a 1. When I played against him at UCLA, he was not the number 1 guy. But you're talking about having 3 other guys or 2 other guys, and you still got to worry about that, closing out on that in the corner from a Jokic pass. I'm just saying anybody would love to play for Jokic. But I'm just saying Zach LaVine has not nearly had the situation that these other role players has, and I don't even know – to be fair, if Zach wants
Star role players.
Yeah, star role players. I don't even know if Zach wants that situation, but he should because he's never going to be able to make it in this league playing like that. Paul George is not even able to make it in this league playing like that. We praise Paul George because of what he can do on the court. Outside of that, you get to a certain point and you plateau. It's so like you can't do it by yourself. And sometimes you need a better player. We see it with Dame.
And wasn't that the case when wasn't that the case when Zach LaVine got to Minnesota? He wasn't the number 1. That was Cat. Cat was the guy there. And on top
all of them was pups. All of them was super pups.
Even if that was the case, Jimmy Butler showed up. And when Jimmy Butler showed up, he kind of was a bit of a disaster in the sense that they weren't prepared for Jimmy Butler. It's not that they weren't prepared to be good players. They just weren't prepared for Jimmy Butler. But then he got hurt, tore his knee up, so that kind of set him back a little bit also. Then he gets to Chicago. When he gets to Chicago, Lonzo Ball was going to be the difference on that crew. I don't know where you're getting this logic from, Shaq, that he's ever been a number 1. I never looked at Zach LaVine as a number 1. I always looked at him like he could be a damn good player. He did have ridiculous talent, but I never thought that he could be your guy when you're trying to win the NBA championship or go deep into the playoffs.
Hear me out. Look at the other players that we've historically looked at as number 1s that if you break it down, what's the point of being a number 1 if you never win? Like T-Mac had Yao Ming, okay, injuries, whatever, but he still couldn't get it done. Paul George couldn't get it done. I'm talking about elite shooting guards that were number ones, James Harden, that could never get it done. So it's like, what's the point of being a number one? But then you go put them in a better situation, and James almost got it done. But you go put them in a better situation to where they have a guy. I don't know who that guy. It could be a big, elite big. I don't really hang my hat on elite point guards.
So basically, what you're saying, Shaq, is I'm a number two. I'm a number one on a playoff team. I'm not a number one on a championship team, which is I don't know if that's Zach LaVine. If he's a number two on a championship team, man. If you put him on Denver, if you put him with Joel Embiid, how much better would they be if he was playing with a guy like that, speeding up the game? How good he is in transition. But the idea that he could be a number one on a playoff team and get a team to the playoffs, I mean, I don't know if he's proven that.
Are we questioning his IQ? Because that's the only thing that we could be questioning at this point is his IQ.
No, we can't do that. We can't do that now, Shaq. He's been in the league 8 years.
Okay, so then what's the reason? So what's the reason that he couldn't be like he's put up numbers? He put up crazy numbers. He had crazy games throughout his entire career. He shoots lights out. He's athletic as hell on defense. I mean, his athleticism is weird, so it doesn't really help him on defense because it's either him getting off the ground to be effective, but he can still slide. But I mean, we've seen Zach on defense. I don't think he's the best perimeter defensive player, but in the fourth quarter, I feel like he can lock up. He has the tutelage of DeMar DeRozan, everything that he's learned from him. I think his next landing spot, and he's right to go, I'm opting out for surgery. Why would I go to Detroit? I'm not about to let y'all get that off and completely ruin my career.
That was definitely going to happen. 100%. 100%.
I'm trying to figure out, when has it ever been a situation where a player like Zach LaVine, we're not going to sit here and act like Zach LaVine doesn't have all NBA capabilities, because he does. If he was winning, he would be easily characterized as one of the top 15 players in the league if he was in a winning situation, because the talent that he has is crazy. So when are we going to prioritize building around Zach LaVine, or you got to plug him into somewhere?
But we can't prioritize him like that, Shaq, because once again, he tore his knee up. So we can't build around a guy who's injury prone. Now, again, he's out for the rest of the season, not just because he's getting traded.
Willingly.
Again, willingly, but he got hurt. He got hurt again. So we're talking about a guy who is in year.
Allegedly.
I'm sure that he got hurt. And I know, Ron, I think you're right on that, Ron, that I don't want to go
Kyrie do something similar?
Look.
Surgery always isn't the best option.
If I'm Zach and my agent calls me talking that Detroit nonsense, like,
I'm getting surgery, 100%.
You just got traded to Detroit.
No.
I'm going to Detroit. Set me up a press conference. I'm retiring. Yes, I'm doing my best Barry Sanders impression. I'm retiring if they trade me to Detroit. That's how bad of a situation that would be for Zach LaVine.
It's two things, though, Shaq. It's health. Health is one of the main problems with Zach LaVine. And from a talent standpoint, I won't argue that. I will not argue from a talent standpoint. I thought that he's one of the better talents in the guy. I think he's more talented than Jaylen Brown. I absolutely believe that he's more talented than Jaylen Brown. With that being said, if you can't hold up, that's one of the main reasons why I can't build my unit around you. If you can't hold up, that's one of the main reasons why we're not going as far as we should go. Prime example of that would be Kawhi Leonard, which, by the way, I'm getting pissed off because I think I got tricked. I'm starting to get it's really starting to upset me because I really think I got tricked. This dude look like he in year 6. That's what's going on. But that's another conversation for another time. The point is a guy like Zach LaVine. The point is a guy like Zach LaVine, as good as he is, right? As talented as he is, if you can't hold up and you got deficiencies like being
what is he can't hold up? Okay. Is there some long history
he had a season-ending injury towards his knee up. He was out for the season.
No, I get that, but now he's just injury prone, man.
Yeah, how about when he was in Chicago? In the 3 years that he was in Chicago, he's been in and out of the lineup.
In and out for sure. But wait, because we know that COVID year, they was on the cusp of something amazing that year when he did come back from COVID. Because he had gotten COVID, they were going before COVID. He got COVID and came back, and it was about to be spooky. But that's a conversation for another day. Got to make sure I got my facts straight on that one. But I remember.
Is that the year you was pushing Zach LaVine over Jason Tatum?
Yes. That's what I think of Zach LaVine. That's what the same way that once upon a time, because Zach's and Tatum's stats were eerily similar about 2 to 3 years ago. Eerily. One was in a winning situation with a better team, and the other was Zach LaVine. I'll let you choose who was who. Now, the same way that we compared Jaylen Brown to Jason Tatum, and we about convinced the entire world I was leading that charge, I tried to bring Zach LaVine in, and it just didn't work out. And the reason it kind of worked out for Jaylen, because they were on the same team. But then in the playoffs, it got tricky for everybody involved. So I don't know. I'm about to start pushing a Miles Bridges narrative too. Don't get me started.
Don't. Oh my God.
Shaq, I gotta ask you.
Don't get me started.
Can Zach LaVine actually play winning basketball? Can he be? And I just ran a poll. Can Zach LaVine be the first, second, third option on a championship team?
He can never be the
not
first.
Play winning.
He could be a second option. He could be the second option for sure.
He cannot be the first. He can be second or third. Like if he was over there, dare I say it? Mars, correct me if I'm wrong, and you can point out all the flaws in this logic. But a Chris Middleton for Zach LaVine this season, would Zach do more than what Chris is doing? Who would you rather be happy?
Well, Zach's not playing for the rest of the season.
No, I'm just saying because he's faking.
Are we assuming Zach would be there?
Yes, he's healthy.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like as Zach LaVine, him as a player, would you want him with Dame and Giannis, or would you want Chris Middleton? And then you tell me that he can't be a third option, and that wouldn't be impactful as hell.
Well,
you gonna act like Chris is out there locking stuff up on the perimeter?
I think Zach LaVine is better than Chris Middleton, but I think for the Bucks, I would rather have Chris Middleton
because
I think Zach LaVine is he's less in the mid range, whether that's by design or his game. I just don't think he's very good in the mid range personally. Whereas Chris Middleton, pretty exclusively in the mid range at this point, and that's the thing the Bucks offense misses when they lack shot creation. You have a guy like Chris Middleton who can get shots in the mid range pretty automatically, and I don't think Zach LaVine provides that. He's more similar to Dame in terms of his shot diet, and I don't think they need another person similar to Dame. I think
is he a better spot up than Dame?
Zach LaVine,
especially in the corners, yeah. Specifically,
the Zach LaVine I know, because this year I don't think his 3-point shot has been great, but the Zach LaVine I know, I think he's one of the better spot ups in the league. I don't know if he's better than Dame, but I think he's one of the.
Is he better than Maxey? I think Zach LaVine when healthy is better than Maxey.
As a player,
shooter,
as a player, I just think as a player, I think he's better than Maxey.
Nah.
Wait, let's talk about it.
Yeah, Maxey not
you guys are recency biased.
That's what I'm saying.
You guys are recency biased. You guys are recency biased.
No.
I can see the conversation, but
Mars, tell the truth.
If we break it down,
lapped to Zach LaVine.
Lapped is crazy.
I don't think he cleared him, Ron. We ain't gonna go that far. We're not gonna go as far as to say he just basically cleared him.
He's had a better last 2 seasons than him.
But I do think he's better. I think he's a better player.
Last 2, he was better than Zach last year.
Based on what?
In this year, he's been miles better than him.
Wait, better than Zach last year based on what?
What do you mean based on what? Last year he was a better scorer. Last year he played better. Last year he was a better. Last year he was a better defender. Hold on. I'm gonna tell you where he was a better scorer at when it meant the most. In the playoffs, when he was better than James Harden, when he was damn near their best player. Yes, when it was time to play ball, Maxey tied his shoes up very tight and went out there and balled out.
So how is that comparable to Zach LaVine?
Zach was better in the regular season. Noticeably, it was better.
How can you compare? Well, it's easy to say that, Ron.
So we can't compare them in the playoffs.
Zach LaVine hasn't been in that situation. That's the whole point that I'm making. That's why I started this entire soliloquy. And now we got on Maxey, not to your detriment.
Yeah,
and you didn't start that.
I'm not even trying to disrespect Maxey. I just don't get how he's a better scorer than LaVine last year.
Listen, Miles Bridges. That's the league needs to be put on notice. That's all I'm gonna say.
We talking about number 0 on the Hornets.
Well,
to come back after a year off after getting in your bag, because we're definitely not going to cape for what he did off the court. But coming back a year later, averaging almost identical numbers, and you're shooting the 3-ball better on more attempts.
Right.
And he has to kind of ease into the situation. You know, when you really got in your bag and you got in trouble and you just wilded out like to the point of no return and you thought your career was over, and then you get a second opportunity and you come back in, you walk in on eggshells. But Miles were we not looking at his trajectory similar to the same guys like an Anthony Edwards a few years back?
Not Anthony Edwards. Definitely not Anthony Edwards.
I knew you was going to say something.
You guys never liked Anthony Edwards.
No, that's not true. I was a big Anthony Edwards guy, Shaq. Anybody who knows, I think he's going to be the MVP of the league one day. That's number one. Number two, Ron, can we get back on the idea of Maxey being a better scorer than Zach LaVine last year? Zach LaVine's a better athlete. He's a better one-on-one player. He's a better, he doesn't play in the mid-range as much as Maxey, but I think he's a better shooter than Maxey. He's definitely a better finisher than Maxey. 100, and this is just last year. The fact that you even bring it up last year when Maxey played behind James Harden. And the idea that
he was better,
and he was not better than him. No way was he better than him.
Listen,
now,
you guys are going strictly off the fact that Zach averaged more points. Can we look at the efficiency?
No, he was talking about James Harden. Chill. Weren't you just saying that Maxey wasn't better than James Harden?
No, I was saying Maxey wasn't better. Last year, Maxey wasn't better than Zach.
We're talking about defensive attention too.
Okay.
Like Maxey got to play with Embiid and Harden, so obviously the defense got to focus on those two. While LaVine defenses are still focused on stopping.
And who does Zach play with?
I mean, DeRozan, but people still see Zach as like
who
guy.
Else?
And who else? We're not comparing Vooch and DeRozan to Harden and Embiid.
We're not, but he has two other options on his team too that defenses have to.
He's still the number one.
Now look, it's not Embiid, it's not Harden, but I'm talking about when I look at the way they play, when I look at efficiency. Even last year, Tyrese was more efficient than Zach, and he did what Zach does better. He shot better from the three. He didn't. If
Ron,
he shot
last year,
Zach, he would average more than Zach.
What? Okay, Ron. Just to kill this whole argument, was Zach a 1 or 2 last year, and was Maxey a 1, a 2, a 3, or a 4 on his team last season?
He wasn't a 1 or a 2.
Option.
Let's kill that logic right now. So he wasn't a 1 or a 2 last
season. Him and Tobias would alternate some games.
Right.
While
he was not a 1 or a 2
in
80%
of games, he's the number one.
Not last year. No, he was not. Now Zach LaVine, on the other hand, was he the one, or was it him and DeRozan alternating those two?
They would alternate too, but I think
those two guys would alternate 1 and 2.
Okay, so the defenses are focusing on the 1 or the 2 or the 3 and the 4th options on an offense.
Well, you ain't getting the same defense as the number 3 as you would as the number 1. That's not happening. So with that being said, you're going to look more effective. You're going to look more effective as the number 3. Sure.
And when your number 1 is Embiid, and your number 2 is James Harden, and your number 3 can shoot, which is Tobias Harris, and as we said, it switches off. It's kind of hard to worry about Maxey. It really is.
Because we'll eat that production from him. Don't get me wrong. 20 a game.
Let him do his thing.
Yeah, we'll eat that production from him. Now, Ron, can we get back real quick, Shaq? I don't know anybody who said Miles Bridges and Anthony Edwards in the same sentence. I don't know anybody who said that.
No. I'm saying in the way that Miles plays, because he's no Anthony Edwards, and that's what I'm trying to let you guys know. That Anthony Edwards is clearly in a league of his own, and he's about to be. He's on a tier by himself. It's not the highest tier, maybe not the second tier, but it's like in between 2 and 3, and he's the only guy on it just because his trampoline of what he can do is so vicious that he could just bunny hop everybody in the league. That's how I feel about Anthony Edwards. But Miles, who we've forgotten about, is a hell of a player, hell of a rebounder, hell of a shooter almost, and he can attack.
I just think the
he's going to get better.
Though, is with like Jeremy Grant, is with maybe even slightly better than Tobias Harris, if that. I think that's the tier of play.
What?
Yes.
Tobias Harris and Miles Bridges on the same tier?
Yeah, Tobias Harris is still giving you 16, 17, and like 8 in the third option.
Hey, listen, America can't wait for this comeback story.
First and foremost, Shaq, what we're leaving out, like you talk about him being out for the year. It's not like he was out for the year with an injury, right? He was out for the year because he was a goofy. Let's be clear about that. So
1,000%.
I didn't have to worry about coming back from an ACL or back injury or anything like that. So he still was working on his game. He might have been away from the facility. He bet on himself the year before that whole incident happened. So he turned that contract down that Jordan had, and he was on his way to being a max guy. So it's not like Miles Bridges was like
he's on like 7.9.
Say that one more time.
7. He's making like 7.9.
So this season, yeah, I think he's on a vet deal. I don't think
he has a no trade clause though, which is interesting. I think it comes with that whatever structured deal that he has. So he gets to pick where he wants to go, but I think Charlotte wants him out. And he's openly saying, I want to stay here. So any team that comes with the offer, but somebody like Dallas,
I'm hearing Phoenix.
You can use Phoenix. They can use Miles Bridges. Dallas. I think Dallas is in the market for Andrew Wiggins, or I would be looking for a Miles Bridges type of guy to play along Luka and Kyrie. That'd be insanity.
What does he bring to Phoenix, though? I mean, they got enough bucket getters.
I agree.
Do you need another bucket getter? We don't need another bucket getter. We need a distributor. We need a floor leader in Phoenix. Miles Bridges is not that.
He's not an incredible defender. He's an okay defender.
No, he is not. No, he is not. So I don't think that the fit in Phoenix
another edge to Phoenix, though. He brings another level of just dynamicness, if you will. Somebody.
I mean, that big three, is it really a big three over there? Because of injuries? Because if we talk about injury prone, I don't know how many games these guys have played together. I think it's like 21, if that.
They rolling, though. They've been rolling.
Bradley Beal's slowly coming around, looking like the old Bradley Beal.
They've been rolling as of late. So
time to roll my sleeves up and get ready for this Bradley Beal propaganda. But back to Miles Bridges, though. I think he actually looks good.
What Bradley Beal propaganda is that?
Miles Bridges, for the salary he's making, 100%. Any team could use Miles Bridges for that salary he's making right now. Any team could trade for him. He's going to help 100% without a doubt. In long term, what you want to do with him, again, we talked about players and what their roles are on championship teams. At best, he's the third option, Miles Bridges? That's what it is. At best, he's the third option. Definitely not a 1 or 2. I think he's a third option at best, maybe a 4 in some cases. So it just depends on what the team needs.
On a top 6 seed.
I think Charlotte is asking for the wrong guy. Not Charlotte, I'm sorry. I think Phoenix is asking for the wrong guy. If you're calling up Charlotte, I don't think that Miles Bridges is the guy. Ask for Kyle Lowry. They'll hand him over. And I think he's perfect for what they're doing in Phoenix. Perfect for what they're doing. Everything that they need is that guy right there. Yeah, they don't need a lot of minutes from him. I think that he gives them enough minutes where they can be good enough when the game gets helter-skelter. Understand the difference, Shaq, between a passer and a guy who can pass. Devin Booker can pass. He is not a distributor. That's not his game. He can pass.
Like Derek Fisher type guys.
Right. Exactly. So if you can get a guy like that, and I definitely think that he would be steady for them. So
that's a good question one day. Who had a better career, Derek Fisher or Kyle Lowry?
Kyle Lowry. I think he was a noticeably better player than Derek Fisher. Derek Fisher was a role player.
Who had a better career?
Hold on. Yeah. Okay, better career. Still, Kyle Lowry made more All-Star teams. Did he make all NBA teams? I'm not sure, but I think it's that
2015, 16,
2015. Okay,
Lowry, yep.
So I get it. The 5 rings he has with Kobe, with the Lakers, I get it. If you want to value that as a better career, you can say Robert Horry had a better career than Kyle Lowry. Give me Kyle Lowry. I'd rather be a bigger part of a team. He still has a ring. Give me Kyle Lowry.
Give me Derek Fisher.
Derek Fisher has a Thanos gauntlet. What are you talking about?
You know why he's saying that, Ron? It's a Toronto dude. Yeah. This is a Toronto dude right here. So of course it's gonna go with
Hold on. If you just want to value rings, that's fine. But again, then we're going to start talking about a lot of. You think Patrick McCaw has a better career than Kyle Lowry?
No, that's not.
Come on now.
I'd rather have Patrick McCaw's career.
That's not. Hey. No, that's not close to the same thing.
Derek Fisher, cool, but I think Kyle Lowry. Give me Kyle Lowry's career.
Give me Derek Fisher.
Hey, speaking of Darvin Ham, I think I figured out his issues in LA.
It's about to be some bullshit. I already know.
I think I figured it out. I got. As you guys know, I'm a Bron guy, and I appreciated what I seen yesterday, particularly out of Miles Bridges, but also out of the purple and gold. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to just ask the obvious questions here. Is there a no-trade clause in Austin Reeves' contract?
I don't think so, no.
I'm not sure.
Nope.
Nope? Okay.
Is LA
it's about to be some bullshit, I'm telling y'all.
We got duped, okay? We got duped, and we were in a jam, and we were in a tough situation because we had Austin Reeves, and we had to bring him back based off of everything that he was doing. But once we got him back, the rest of the league was like, you guys overhyped this situation just because of what was happening at the moment in LA. If I had the opportunity, I'm packaging Reeves in DLo, and I'm trying to go get something that can help us be a better team.
Have you seen the way DLo playing?
DLo, big shot maker. It turns the tide. Every time you need a big bucket, DLo is coming. This is, I might get traded, DLo, and I like this DLo, but the fact remains is DLo is so slow. To be a guard in this league, DLo is horrendously slow. So for him to get his game off, it takes forever. It takes the ball out of Bron's hands, which we know he doesn't like, and we know Reeves is trying to get a bucket. We know AD's trying to get a bucket. AD passing out of the post is dope. I don't know if he's easy to guard, DLo. He's easy to guard, and we're going to see that in the playoffs. Right now, it doesn't matter.
And what easy to guard in what aspect? I mean, he can stretch the defense. Sure, he can stretch the defense. He does get downhill, so I don't think he's as slow as you think he is. He does get downhill. The problem with DLo is, well, I'm asking a question. In what aspect? In what aspect do you mean when you're talking about
DLo has the fear of God in him from Pelinka and Bron right now, and to his credit, he has reacted. Right. He's putting up insane numbers, but this is what some players do when it's fight or flight. This is just what some humans do. When it's fight or flight, some people step up and it turns something inside of them. But the moment that they're safe, DLo, in a week or so, the moment that they're safe, we see everything flooding back. DLo is a hell of a player. He's always been a hell of a player. But with this unit, it takes too much for him to get his game off, in my opinion. He cannot play him and Bron out there. Also with Reeves, who is thirsty. These young guys, Reeves is thirsty to get a bucket. Some games he is, in some games, but most of the time he's extremely thirsty, just in my opinion. He gets up a lot of shots.
Well, two things, Shaq. Number one, with Davis and James off the floor, the game opened up so much more because now with DLo, he gets more shots. He gets more opportunities. The problem with him and Reeves playing at the same time, there's no distribution. Those two dudes do not pass. Those two dudes are basically scorers. Now, when you got two scorers on the floor that only do one thing, that's a recipe for disaster. That's number two. Number three, DLo has never been questioned as a baller until he got to Los Angeles. When he was in Brooklyn, he was a baller. When he was in Golden State, he was a baller. When he was in Minnesota, he was a baller. He gets to Los Angeles, and now, because he got outplayed in the Western Conference Championship, even though 2 series before that, when they played against Memphis, when they played against Golden State, he was killing against them. Now all of a sudden, DLo has to go. This team right here is constructed the way it's constructed in order for them to make plays and go deep to the playoffs. The problem is that sometimes we don't know what we're doing. They look like the Keystone Cops. Should this guy be shooting? Should this guy be on the floor? There's rotation issues. So it's not just DLo, and it's not just Austin Reeves. And there is no trade, Jack. There is no trade, Jack, that's going to turn this around. There isn't one.
Yes, it is, Chill.
It's not DeJounte Murray.
Yes, it is.
It's not, Ron.
Yes, it is.
It's not.
Yes, I was clueless to why they could use DeJounte Murray, but then when you pair one of the fastest players in the league on this team, I'm really like what I'm seeing, and I like the defense that he can bring versus what they're going to do to DLo in the playoffs on the defensive side. I don't even want to be around for that. I don't want to see that nightmare. He has his tongue out on defense. He has to catch his breath and go shimmy and shake, and he's already not that quick, but he has herky jerk. He can stop and go. He can pull up, but it doesn't matter if you're tired because they're attacking you every single play on defense.
I mean,
that day is coming.
You know the playoff look. As a playoff dropper, he's notorious. His shooting splits all go down. Shaq mentioned DLo's a guy who, like I said, all humans do. When his back's pushed against the wall, like now he's scared of being traded. He's stepping up, playing well. Will he be able to continue playing like this after that trade deadline when he feels more safe? You know, that's kind of wait and see thing. The way he's been playing, and with DeJounte Murray, I understand he's good, the defense he brings to the table, but I don't think that's the fix. I think if you get other kind of rotational pieces, again, like a guy like Caruso, I think, would probably help more so than even DeJounte, because what you'd have to give up for DeJounte is DLo. You're still giving up a guy who's giving you essentially 25 a night for a month.
Taylor, where's this defense from DeJounte Murray coming from? Somebody put 73 on him and another dude put 60 on him. He's a better defender than DLo. I hear you. One of the highest scoring games this year was on his
DeJounte's not the defender he was in San Antonio.
Yeah, Jimmy Butler ran over Drew Holiday. You wouldn't question Drew Holiday?
No, I wouldn't. However, he's not getting 70. He's not getting 70 and 60 balls put on him.
That wasn't all on DeJounte. And you chill, and you know that how cut and dry that is. You know, like when somebody scores
he's a defender, though. He's their guy defensively.
Yeah,
he is their guy.
Especially with Luka. What does Luka do? Why does Luke Mars, when Luka has the ball at the top of at the logo and he's probing, what is he doing?
Getting the big on him.
Thank you. Actively, the whole time Luka has the ball, it will be 3 or 4 screens. I've seen 3 or 4 screens in a single possession set on Luka at the top of the key, at the top of the 3-point line. Luka trying to switch smaller defenders on him, switch bigger, slower guys on him. So DeJounte may start off on him, but he's not finished. He's rarely finishing a possession on him.
Which I'm glad you brought that up, because did DeJounte Murray lead the league in steals? Do we devalue guys who lead the league in steals as defenders?
We don't devalue. I think we just understand now that steals is a stat that's not necessarily directly correlated to great defense. Allen Iverson, didn't he lead the league in steals?
So how you always using Allen Iverson?
I'm just saying.
Always trying to hate on AI. Use someone else.
I'm just saying. He wasn't a great
James
defender.
Harden.
Use someone else. Who is trying to hate on AI, man?
Okay, so James Harden, right?
Yeah, James Harden.
Okay, so but with that being said,
we do devalue. We do.
But also, Mars, there's other great steals leaders. Like Alvin Robinson led the league in steals. Jordan led the league in steals. Stockton led the league in steals. So why do we devalue guys who lead the league in steals when these guys are all who led the league in steals great defenders? Plus, a guy who's a scorer. I mean, is this the same thing? I want to make sure that I word this right. Is this the same thing when we got a guy who's averaging a bunch of points and another guy who's averaging the same amount of points? We don't value this guy scoring as many points as this guy. So, for example, Steph Curry as a scorer. Would we value Adrian Dantley as a scorer like we do Steph Curry? Because Adrian Dantley averaged 30 a game for 6 straight years. But we won't value him as a scorer like we do Steph Curry. And Adrian Dantley shot over 50% from the floor. So the thing that the question that I'm asking is, when you're talking about defense, why do we devalue a guy who's a steals leader, and we don't do the same thing with guys who score the basketball?
Because you made all your points were correct. But when I steal the ball and I'm averaging 2 or 3 steals for the season, and are those automatically translating into points? I mean, I get they're translating into possessions, but a steal, you could steal the ball, pass it down court, the guy missed the 3, and we're just getting back. And it counts for nothing. So when you bring up steals, it's like steals is almost at the bottom of the stat sheet as far as important factors in a game. Now, turnovers are important. Like, if you're stealing by committee, that's one thing. But just for me to look at one guy and say, like, nah, I don't see how, like, of course it could be like, how does that translate?
But wait a minute, though, Shaq. We also talking about steals leading to buckets. You leaving out steals like game-tying steals, game-saving steals, digging in the post to actually get a steal and stop a run, stuff like that.
But chill.
That kind of stuff matters too.
But the steal guys that are playing the passing lanes aren't the clamp down guys. The clamp down guys are causing the steals because they're clamping down. And now I'm frantic with the ball, and now it's just bobbling around. Now I want to get it out my hands. And you know who's right there? James Harden, Steph, because they have high IQ on defense. And no matter how lazy James Harden is, he knows basketball. So he can read where the ball's about to go, and he sees like, oh, that's my clamp guy. I know what happens right here. I'm off to the races.
Just shoot the gap. Okay. All right.
That's just my perception on steals versus being a clamp down guy.
I just think when it comes to defensive stats like steals and blocks, if we were on playback the other day with Mars or watching Orlando Magic, and we were watching Jonathan Isaac. He did so many things on the court where it was amazing defense that won't show up in the stat sheet. So him playing good defense, causing a bad pass that led to his teammates getting a steal, that's not going to show up on a stat sheet. Him contesting a shot, which means that the player is going to alternate or force himself a bad shot or have to move his body, change it up, is going to not show in the stat sheet, but we saw with our eyes, right? So just defensively, the more and more, like say, we watch the game, you realize that blocks and steals aren't necessarily that indicative. Even with scoring though. I just think that understanding your Dantley's played.
To your point, Shaq, I just think that a guy who actually is a steals leader, when he's also a clamp down guy, like Stockton, who was a clamp down guy, Jordan was a clamp down guy, Alvin Robinson, these guys are clamp down guys. The fact that these guys get lumped in with James Harden or Magic and guys like that who actually, or DeJounte Murray is an example. He led the league in steals. The fact that these guys get, I guess, bundled in with those guys, I don't like the fact that a guy who's a steals leader isn't looked at as a great defender. considering the other stuff that he does. I think it's a case-by-case basis more than anything.
Yeah, but even if it for sure is case by case. But even those high steal guys, you know what it takes to be a high steals guy?
Well, you just
because
said
over. No. I'm just saying, like, even over in EuroLeague, I think my first year I finished either first or second in steals, and right behind I think Babois. But what it took was also being categorized as a gambler. So now I'm overshooting passes and giving up threes in the corner. Like, it comes, but even though my steals were a little bit different than what I just described, because mostly all of them led to fast break, momentum changing dunks. And in EuroLeague, to sway the crowd like that, that's a little bit different. And it often was in key moments. And I learned. But I said all that to say, with the amount of points that people give up on gambling, in overplaying, getting cooked, especially on like guys in the league, you almost balance it out. It's almost a wash for some of these guys, because it's easier to gamble and miss it than it is to get the steal. If I know that you're trying to get a steal and you're playing passing lanes, I just fake here and I'm going back door, and it's easy to get cooked on stuff like that.
Right.
Often.
That's fair. That is
all
fair.
right, fellas. This is a great time to tell everybody that's watching to go ahead and like the video. Shout out to all of our new subscribers. Shout out to everybody in the comment section. You guys are the real MVP. We're 40 minutes into the show, so I do want to
shout out to our old subscribers.
Facts. Shout out to the real day ones too. You know, those that have been here since Mars' first episode, since the Bubble MVP episode, those who have seen Doug's real growth. All of those guys from the very beginning. Shout out to all of y'all. Dub getting mentioned 2 episodes back to back. Shout out, Dub. If you haven't been to playerschoicemerch.com, go ahead and check it out. We got some fly stuff over there. Today on Playback, it will be me with the Indiana Pacers versus Mars with the Houston Rockets. Y'all be sure to pull up Mars.
Ryan and Mars got a playback?
Yeah.
I like that. Jalen Green?
No Fred VanVleet, so we get to see the Amen Thompson masterclass. It's gonna be great.
You get to see Halliburton on minutes restrictions.
Yeah, he's ducking the Amen Thompson smoke. Makes sense. I don't blame him.
Can't wait for Pascal to cook Jabari too.
Nah, okay.
You should
put that little chump in his place. He's been needing it.
Pascal needs a big game. He needs a big game with Indiana.
Shut up.
I'm just saying he hasn't had one yet. It's about time. Need a little 35 point, 10 rebound, 5 assists.
The question is what did we think of Pascal? What did you guys think Siakam was going to be going to Indiana? I mean, was he a needle mover? Like, was he going to get them to the East Finals? Him in particular, or is he just good enough to get them out of round 1?
If he gets them out of round 1, that's big.
I thought he'd be there's probably their second leading scorer after Halliburton. I thought he would push Halliburton for maybe even the leading scorer in that team with Halliburton feeding him the ball in the fast break. He get, I thought, at least 8 points a game off that. He can still score the ball, good one-on-one player. I think the defense is where I thought he would definitely help them the most. Right. Being a team that runs fast pace, he could be the guy that can guard the other team's best defender. I just think it's just taking a little more time. I think with Halliburton not being 100% on that minutes limit, it definitely hurt that team in terms of kind of developing chemistry, things of that nature. But I think, the more and more game time they get, especially after the All-Star break, I think Siakam will come to his own and really, be the clear second best player on the team, but he'll have nights where he's clearly the best player on the floor for that team.
I think he's been good.
I agree, Morris.
I just expect him maybe a little more with Halliburton.
What you expect him to average 33 now?
No, more so. I thought it'd be close to like 24. I thought
I think
22.
Averaging 20. Yeah.
Okay.
But even you expected one more layup. Okay, Pascal, make one more layup.
One more mid-range jump shot, Mars. That's
there we go.
Or 2 free throws.
Free throw line one more time.
That's it.
Give it to him.
Give me two from the free throw line.
I want to see the games him and Halliburton played together. How Halliburton's been playing.
I know that Cleveland propaganda about to start getting spread around here. I know that for a fact. Shaq want to talk about that Miles Bridges. Shaq want to talk about spreading that Miles Bridges. I was talking about Cleveland before the season started. I don't think that they are a championship contender, but I tell you what, Boy,
Chill, just stop it. I can say that about anybody.
They're gonna be hard to bounce.
I feel the same way about the Pacers, Chill. I feel the same way about the Pacers.
No way.
Yeah, Tyrese about to break some playoff records. That's what's about to happen. I don't know who holding them, but hey, I got a conspiracy theory, John Stockton, and I hope you ain't got no records around there, because Tyrese is coming for all of them.
I'm good.
No. Hats off to Cleveland. What's it like? The last 14 out of 15?
15 and
well,
1.
so
15 and 1.
Cleveland is on that. They are clearly the hottest team in the NBA. They're on a 6-game winning streak, 9-game winning streak at home, 9-1 in their last 10 games, 19-14 since December 16th, which is a league best. They just
19-4 or 19-14?
19-4. My bad. 19-4. They are on fire right now. Why are we not respecting the Cleveland Cavaliers the way we should be?
Still trying to figure out what SGA did to jump Donovan Mitchell. Still trying to figure out what SGA did. I'm gonna say it one more time for the people in the cheap seats. Still trying to figure out what SGA did to jump Donovan Mitchell. What did he do to jump Donovan Mitchell? One more time for the people in the cheap seats. What did SGA do to jump Donovan Mitchell? What did he do? I'm all
in. His team first place in the Western Conference.
We don't have to go to the cheap seats.
He played basketball better than him. No,
yes, he just played basketball better than him.
So I guess Tyrese has jumped Mitchell as well.
Tyrese, who said Tyrese? Who?
No, Maxey?
Tyrese Halliburton. Yes, Tyrese Halliburton.
He did. He was ahead of a lot of people's rankings. But I don't think. I mean, point guard, shooting guard. I don't want to do that. But in terms of player rankings, the way up until the tournament, the in-season tournament, Halliburton was playing better than Mitchell. You could say that for sure. Now, are we going to put him ahead of Mitchell because? Based on the Mitchell's, obviously his body of work still exceeds Halliburton. So I think you can still give Mitchell that benefit of the doubt. But it's definitely a conversation of who's been better this year.
So up into the play-in tournament, which basically was a month and a half into the season. That's where we're going. A month and a half into the season. So a month and a half into the season. A month and a half into the season, we're basically a month and a half in the season. We're gonna go off of everything that Donovan Mitchell has done. Tyrese Halliburton, a month and a half into the season, he jumps him, or there's a conversation. Even though he was playing great, I'm not going to argue that. He was playing great.
He was playing phenomenal. He was putting up those 20, incredible.
I'm not going to argue that. No, I will not argue that. But with that being said, last year he had a career year. Never averaged that many points in Utah, not one time. I think he shot his second highest 3-point percentage this season. He's having another career year. I think he's averaging 28 a game, almost 29 a game. I think he's in the top 6 in the league in scoring. This is the most assists he's averaging. He'd be a double-digit assist guy if guys would convert more. How many times I've seen Donovan Mitchell get down the lane and crack the ball out to D-Wade, crack the ball out to Strus, crack the ball out to George Niang, and those guys aren't converting. I've seen that plenty of times. Now the fact that he's got Jared Allen healthy, Evan Mobley is now healthy. The fact that he's got those guys healthy, this team is back at the top of the Eastern Conference, which I thought they were going to be a top 3 seed before the season started. That's where they are now. With all of that being said, he's playing like he was playing last year when he should have made first team All-NBA and his team was at the top of the Eastern Conference. Why he wasn't first team All-NBA when a guy whose team did not make the playoffs was first team All-NBA is still beyond me. Still. Because there's guys in the league, Mars, who play basketball better, in your opinion, than other guys, yet they still are overlooked. I'm not trying to hear that.
With the record, though, I just think with Cleveland, the only thing I think Mitchell's going to be Mitchell in the playoffs. He'll give you 30 a night, on relatively decent efficiency. I think that's fine. It's just the second guy. I don't know if I trust Garland. I don't know if I trust Mobley to be that second guy scoring. Max Strus is always kind of up and down. Karis LeVert, I think, could be an X factor coming off the bench. He has games where he looks phenomenal, and he has games where he's going to give you 3 points where he shoots, 2 for 10. So with Cleveland, I trust Mitchell. It's just everybody else. But I just don't trust everybody else.
Yo.
Shade is bad.
Mars, that's not an answer.
I'll try to mince what Mars is trying to put down. Chill, is the East or West better? Who's playing against better competition, in your opinion?
I think the East has gotten much better. I think the East has definitely gotten better. I think the East is better.
You think the East is better than the West?
Yes, I do.
Okay, that's fair. Whose stats are better, like across the board?
With Donovan Mitchell and SGA?
Yeah.
I think SGA averages more points. I think they average around the same amount
Rebounds.
I think they average around the same amount of rebounds and assists. It's like percentage points, like 0.6, stuff like that. In terms of the points per game, I think he averages 3 more points than Donovan Mitchell. So that's basically a bucket. All right, I can get with that. But to answer your question, I think SGA.
I'm just trying to figure out, because I know we haven't heard of context bending in a while. It's been a while since the context bend, the last context benders.
Yep.
I would love for you to explain to me before we move on why the East is more competitive and have better teams than the West.
So the Eastern Conference, we don't have that same logic that we had in the 2000s, where you had one guy for every All-NBA team. For every All-NBA team, that was the 3 teams, first, second, and third. You only had one guy, so that's 1 out of every 5 guys. That's not going on. So when you look at the records in the NBA over the last couple of years, let's see, Milwaukee. I think Milwaukee today, I think they got the 2nd best record in the NBA. Last year, the Boston Celtics, I think they were at the top of the league. They got the best record in the league before Joel Embiid went down. I think Philadelphia had the third or the 4th best record in the league. Minnesota is at the top of the Western Conference. Sure, I definitely can give it that. But from a player standpoint, when I think about the players in the Eastern Conference, Joel Embiid, Giannis, Jason Tatum, let's see, Maxey, Tyrese Halliburton, Trae Young. I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody because I'm just going off the top of my head. But when I think about guys like that, compared to Joker, compared to Kawhi Leonard, sure, compared to who am I thinking about? LeBron James, compared to Anthony Davis and those guys. When I think about the teams in the Eastern Conference and how they've fared against the Western Conference as of late, I think the Eastern Conference is better.
Boy. Okay, so we got OKC versus Boston. Who's better?
Boston.
Cleveland or Minnesota?
Minnesota is better than Cleveland.
Milwaukee or the Clippers?
I think Milwaukee's fool's gold, so don't ask me about Milwaukee.
Okay, so that's Clips. New York or Denver?
They just beat them by 40 a couple of nights ago. But don't get me wrong. I mean, if it was a 7-game series, Denver would beat the Knicks. I think so.
Oh, we're already at 3 teams in the West to 1 in the East. Sacramento or Philly? As is, or we can keep Embiid there because it was.
If Embiid was there, if Embiid was there, Philly's better than Sacramento.
Okay, New Orleans or Indy?
Come on, chill. You know what to do right here.
Indiana.
Yeah, there you go. Good man.
Orlando or Phoenix?
Phoenix is better than Orlando. Not by much.
Miami? Miami or Dallas?
Miami's better than Dallas.
So, okay, that is funny. That is funny. Kyrie just got back. That is funny. Even with Kyrie, Miami's better. You still going with Miami over Dallas?
Yes, I am. I'm going with Miami over Dallas. Strictly off the defense. Off the defensive end, I'm going with them.
Chicago or LA?
Chicago or the Lakers?
And this is where the East just completely goes down the drain.
Yes.
Completely.
Yeah.
Atlanta or Utah?
Utah.
Brooklyn or the Rockets?
Houston. Houston's better than Brooklyn. Yes, they are.
The disrespect.
Toronto or Golden State?
You know who to say.
I'm gonna go with Toronto on that one.
This is where we can even stop this.
I'm gonna go with Toronto.
No way.
The Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Warriors are the thing. I know how you are, Shaq, with Kuminga, because I did Kuminga too. They are the Titanic. They are. They
won 5 more games in a harder conference than Toronto has.
Chill, you really believe in a 7-game series the Raptors would beat the Warriors?
Do you know who Emmanuel Quickly is? Do you know who Emmanuel Quickly is?
No.
Why are you even bringing up Emmanuel?
You must not know who Klay Thompson is. Yeah, you must.
When we're talking about point guards, and you bring up Emmanuel Quickly,
that defense.
In Shai,
and then you bring up defense.
Not quickly.
You bring up
Shai is
quickly,
taller.
you bring up defense.
Yeah.
Respect Shai is taller.
Yeah.
I respect his defense, but what does his defense have to do with anything in this series?
Oh,
he locking up.
Yeah.
Locking up who?
Steph Curry?
Klay Thompson.
Oh,
Thank you, Mars.
Locking him up.
Thank you, Mars.
Klay don't put enough.
So, just to my point, Chill, Shai is number one in a conference to where there's better competition, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. He's taller than Donovan, and I think that plays a lot into why he's able to get why his stats are just better overall. So if I'm building a franchise, I'm sorry, but I'm taking the 6'6" point guard over the 6'3", allegedly, Donovan Mitchell.
Right. So the stats
every time.
But
let's forget the stats. The eye test is insane for both of them.
But it gets
clear. No. It's insane for both of them. The eye test checks out
for both of them. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about. So for both of them, and now when you talk about the numbers, there's not a huge gap when we talk about the numbers. It's not like it's not like these guys in scoring and rebounding and distributing
3 points.
And then when I watch these guys, the athlete that Donovan Mitchell is, the pull-up game he has, the finisher that he is at the rim at that size, what he does in the clutch, and I mean, I can't leave out the fact that he did put 43 on Shai when they played him the first time. They did beat them because I think Oklahoma City's got a better team. But he did put 43 on Shai the first time that they went at
Why do you think their team is better?
Why do I think that their team
because Cleveland is going absolutely bonkers right now. So, but they're running through East that we just talked about. But no, they're playing some Western Conference teams too.
They are playing some Western Conference. They are playing some Western Conference teams. I think that Oklahoma City, they're good due to how good Shai is, but they also got some other good young talent. J-Dub is awesome. The fact that they got Chet, he's the difference. The same reason why Donovan Mitchell is the difference in Cleveland. Before you get Donovan Mitchell on that crew, they're a playing team. You get Donovan Mitchell on that crew, they're a top 5 seed in the East. You get Chet on that team before Chet got on it, they were a playing team. Chet gets on that crew, they're in the top 5 and they're a top 5 seed. They're at the top of the league. That makes J-Dub's game better. That makes Shai's game better. When you got a guy like Chet on the crew, when that's happening, that's called a difference maker. Now, don't get me wrong, Donovan Mitchell, don't get me wrong. I think Shai does his thing 100%. But when I think about what Donovan Mitchell brings to Cleveland and how much better they've gotten with him on the crew, I'm still trying to figure out. I'm not putting Shai Gilgeous-Alexander ahead of Donovan Mitchell right now. I'm not doing
Chilltown Hoops. I'm sorry. I apologize, but I cannot let you get this off. Ticket wouldn't let you get this off. So, hey, in memory of my good friend, I can't let you get this off, Chill. I'm calling Cap. I'm calling it because the Cleveland Cavaliers are a better team than the Oklahoma City Thunder. They are.
So if that's the
player for player breakdown.
Okay, so
player for player breakdown.
So if Oklahoma City. So if that's true, and Cleveland is in 3rd place in the Eastern Conference, and Oklahoma City is at the top of the West, wouldn't that mean that the Eastern Conference is tougher, considering that they're in 3rd place?
They're in 2nd, but
it just means Boston's well ahead of the competition in the East.
That also means that too. Sure, I can get with that. Mm-hmm. I could definitely get with that.
I'm talking about the breakdown of the team, though.
Okay,
you have an all-star point guard. Donovan Mitchell's obviously all-star too. Right. Jared Allen,
all-star. Right? Chet or Jared Allen.
He's all-star, right?
Jared Allen's nice.
Evan,
Mars, you roasted me when I said he's going to be an all-star. You what?
No, and he wasn't an all-star, so you're still wrong.
Wait a minute.
But he's nice. I'll say he's nice.
Two replacements. There's 2 replacements that have.
And he's not going to be one of them. One of them going to be Trae Young, and the other one going to be.
They're not going to have 4 point guards on that team. It's not happening. They're not. It's not going to be Maxey. It's Maxey, Jalen Brunson, Damian Lillard, and Trae Young. That's not happening. No,
it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Not happening. But anyway, Ron, back to what you were talking about with Oklahoma City.
That's 3 all-stars,
right?
Evan Mobley. I don't really have to go too deep into him, but we all know Evan Mobley's a very talented player. Mm-hmm. Then when we get into the bench guys, they got Karis LeVert, they got Max Strus, they got all these other guys too. The Cavs the Cavs are slept on as a team. Now, obviously, they've been injured and stuff like that. But if you look at the construction of the roster and the players, the Cavaliers have a better team. Donovan Mitchell has more to work with offensively and defensively. He has defensive juggernauts over there. So like he has. So from
a record standpoint, Oklahoma City is better. From a talent standpoint,
they're a game better. We're not like and you do this with Ticket every day. You say Ticket, come on, they're a record, they're a game better. So we can't really, going off the record, and the Cavs have been injured too. So going off the record doesn't really tell the tale. I'm talking about just looking at the teams, looking at what
talent standpoint. Cleveland is definitely better than Oklahoma City. I won't argue that. No, I will not argue.
Better, but I'm
going from a record standpoint. From a record standpoint, where Oklahoma City is right now at the top of the Western Conference, they're better. Even though it's only one game, they're better. But if you look at these two rosters, if you put these two rosters together, Cleveland is better than them.
Is Chet better than Mobley and Jared Allen?
He's better than Evan Mobley.
I think he's probably better than both. Defensively, what he brings to the table, I think he's the best defender there.
Jalen, you could easily say he's better, and everybody would say yes because he can shoot the three, he can dribble and do all of that. Who's more impactful?
Chet.
Is he a better defender than Jared Allen?
Yes. I think Chet's noticeably better than
He might block shots better, but is he better? Does he anchor the defense better than Jared Allen?
I think Chet as an anchor is definitely better than Jared Allen.
I think Jared Allen might be one of the more slept-on defenders in the league. When we talk about great defenders in the league, we never bring up Jared Allen.
No, that's
one
true.
Of the better rim protectors, one of the better rebounders in the game, one of the better paint presence. Yes,
absolutely. I just don't think he impacts that team defensively like Chet does.
Chet's a monster on defense for sure.
He is.
But I'm more so just saying that I think Shai, night in and night out, has to do more heavy lifting than Donovan Mitchell has to night in and night out. Now, I know, and here's the one thing that I will give Donovan Mitchell. Since Darius Garland got out of his way, it has been a masterclass, and he's done an amazing job of railing that team up the standings. They've shot up the standings since Darius Garland, and I actually would, if I was Cleveland, I would consider moving Darius Garland just because how good they've looked without him. But either way it goes, the Cleveland Cavaliers
for who? Austin Reeves?
No. No.
Zach LaVine.
Klay Thompson.
DeJounte Murray.
But yeah, Donovan Mitchell has done a great job of carrying that team. But with that being said, we're sleeping on the talent that the Cleveland.
The fact that we don't measure players. Well, yes, we do. The fact that you got more to work with. Okay, sure, we do measure players because of that. Yeah, you do have more to work with, but you still have to do your job. So it's not like Donovan Mitchell is playing with a crew and he's getting the bare minimum or just above average. He's elite playing with these guys, and it's not like he's playing with a crew of talented guys that have been around for years. Mobley is in year 3. Darius Garland is in year 4. These dudes are all kids. I think Jared Allen just turned 25 years old. Max Strus is known as the quote unquote fake shooter. Now, don't get me wrong, Shai is playing with a bunch of kids too. But with that being said, the crew that Donovan Mitchell has, one of the main reasons why they're better is because of him.
And the defense.
Does SJ have more shot creators on his team? Because Giddey, I think, is more of a shot creator for his teammates, and Jalen Williams.
So is Jalen Williams. So is J-Dub. Yes.
Or relative, let's say so. On
number 3.
Okay, not amazing, but I think he can still create shots for his teammates, 100%. Right. But again, on Cleveland,
then so can Caris LeVert.
It's got sure, exactly. So they're kind of same. Caris LeVert, Garland, and then you have Mitchell. So SGA, Giddey, Jalen Williams. So I think in terms of that shot creating, creating team, they have the same amount of talent around them, and it's just about the other pieces now.
Mars, if you had to coach or GM or coach/GM, whatever you want to call it, either of these teams right now for the next 2 seasons, who would you choose?
Well, OKC have 7,000 picks, so I mean it would be easier.
Well, that's why I didn't say in the long term. I'm talking about just like for the rest of this season and next season.
I'd rather
for success
to win a championship.
Well, I think it's easier to get through the East than it is to get through the West. But I think I'd rather still be with OKC because I think they have higher upside. And I think the change that needs to be made is pretty apparent with OKC and easy to make. Whereas with the Cavs, if there's any changes that need to be made, it's difficult. Especially considering you don't even know if Donovan Mitchell wants to be there. So, I mean, that's kind of a concern.
What's the tougher conference, Mars, the East or the West?
To get to the finals, the West, in my opinion.
What's the difference? I don't understand.
The East, the only how do I say this? If you can avoid Boston, I think you can get to the conference finals. The West, I don't think that's the same. I don't think that
there's like 7 teams in the West that can make the conference.
The West, I think any team can beat any team.
I mean, yeah, the West you have.
I mean, the Clippers, the Nuggets, the Timberwolves, the
Suns.
Thunder, the Suns.
So outside
Maybe
of
the Lakers, make the Pelicans look good. You see,
Luka, Kyrie.
right?
You don't count out the Mavs.
Right.
You don't count out the Mavs.
the Maverick, like it's just
the
every
Mavericks.
series
Oh
is
my God.
It's a lot. It's a
ridiculous.
lot of teams.
So outside of Boston, right? So if even though Boston is the clear favorite in the East to get to the conference finals, outside of them, is there another clear favorite in the East to get to the conference finals?
Who's it? The Bucks.
And the Bucks with the talent, just because you have Dame and Giannis, I'll give them that. Those are two just huge.
But I would like. I don't think the Cavs are looking at the Bucks like, oh, we don't want to play them. I don't think that's. Whereas in the West, I think every team is like, oh, this is a tough matchup. This is a tough matchup. Whereas in the East, I think
the Bucks don't want nothing to do with Indiana, Mars. They want nothing to do with them.
That's my point. That's my point. In the East, there's matchups just like, well, I mean, like Indiana's the lowest seed, and they're not looking at the Bucks like, we gotta play the Bucks. But if they're in the West and it's like we got the Clippers, it's like, ooh, yeah, that's tough. Or we got the Timberwolves, ooh, that's tough. Or we got the Nuggets, ooh, that's tough. Like there's no matchup in the first rounds in the West where you're like, I can see us winning this, and I'm not afraid of this matchup. It's like, yeah, this is gonna be a tough matchup. Then you get to the second round. Oh, we just beat the Nuggets. Oh, I guess we got in round 2, the Timberwolves. Oh, we go to the conference finals. Oh, now we got the Clippers. Like it's a gauntlet. Like that's how I'm viewing it. Like there's no bias in the West.
So in the East and in the East, like you just said, the same logic couldn't that same logic be applied in the East? So if you Indiana and you get past, barring injuries, right? If you Indiana and you get past Milwaukee, okay, I got Joel Embiid waiting for me in the next round. If I I don't now. I don't
exactly. Now you got Julius Randle.
I got the Knicks waiting for me in the second round, or I got Jimmy Butler waiting for me in the second round.
It's not the same gauntlet. It's not.
It's the same thing.
The East is nice.
The East is nice.
The East is nice. I'm not saying this isn't the 2000s East where it's literally just one team's going to get through and then they're going to get smoked by the West. It's just not the same level of gauntlet, in my opinion. I still think it's tough. I'm not saying it's a cakewalk. Well, for Boston, it might be. But for like the other teams, I'm not saying it's a cakewalk. It's just, it's not the same to me. And I just think OKC next year probably just have an easier roster to design for winning. Because the Cavs have too many question marks in terms of does Donovan Mitchell.
I don't think that they can win it, Mars. I don't. I don't think the Cavs can win it. I'm not going that far. I don't think that they can win it. But I think that they get out of the first round this year. I do think that.
Fellas, I have something I need to put on the screen. But Jalen, before I do that, I want to ask you right quick. What conference do you think is harder to make it through?
Oh, definitely the West.
Definitely the West?
100%. Yeah, definitely.
That's why when Houston do it, oof.
So when the Lakers go shot the world, get to the finals.
All right, Shaw. It's about that time. We heard Houston making it to the West.
Imagine if the Lakers got back to the finals.
Could you imagine if we did it? Ime Udoka? Oh my God.
Hey, can you imagine?
Sengun finals MVP?
Pascal Siakam finals MVP? Learn from his
bring up whatever you need to bring up.
LeBron James finals MVP.
You see how the two-way street? You see
bring up whatever it is you want to show. Just go ahead.
If the Cavaliers are serious, like if they actually have intentions on winning a title with Mitchell, maybe they should really consider this. Go ahead and prop this on the screen right here. A trade with the New Orleans Pelicans. 3-team trade.
3-team trade.
It looks like the Nets are involved as well. Darius Garland, they get off him and he goes to the Brooklyn Nets. Max Strus, Evan Mobley, and Ty Jerome all go to the Pelicans. And it looks like the Cleveland gets a massive haul of Mikal Bridges from the Nets, Herb Jones from the Pelicans, Larry Nance Jr. from the Pelicans, Royce O'Neal from the Nets, and Trey Murphy from the Pelicans.
No, hell no.
So the Nets are just getting fleeced. They just get Darius Garland.
Yeah, so the Nets get no picks.
Yeah, no picks, nothing.
And lose Mikal, lose Royce. No picks. Interesting.
The Mobley for the Mikal Bridges, like I get that flip.
No,
Jalen,
you crazy?
I like Larry Nance. And Royce O'Neal.
I am not trading Evan Mobley. Hell no, I'm not trading Evan Mobley. Absolutely.
But your guy Herb Jones is in this.
right? But I'm not giving up Evan Mobley for Herb Jones. I'm not doing that.
You still believe Evan Mobley gonna take that jump?
You can have Strus, sure. You can have Strus. Maybe
I think this trade only benefits the Cavs.
I think the Cavs definitely get better here. I think the Cavs get better here for sure.
Like I don't know. The Nets have no incentive to do this.
100%, unless they get like 3.
And the Pels, I don't know what you're doing with Zion, Valanciunas, and Evan Mobley.
Facts that don't fit.
Like unless you move Valanciunas at the same time, like, the Pels.
No, this is the 2K trades I used to get off all the time. That only benefited me, or I'm not doing it. How about that? And then it goes through, and I can't believe it.
The Cavs just committed.
Somebody actually bought it. Is that what you saying?
And then still be trash. Yeah,
this is crazy. The Cavs just committed highway robbery on this trade.
Oh my god! Somebody is so fired as a GM. You are fired, man.
I would do this trade if I was the Cavs. I'm just saying. If somehow the Cavs got offered this, I would do this trade.
100%.
If the Cavs got this off, the Boston Celtics would be so pissed. Because you got Donovan Mitchell. Chill, can you see the defense around Donovan Mitchell?
It'd be stupid.
You got Mikal Bridges at the 2, or Herb, whatever. Mikal Bridges and Herb Jones on the wing with Trey Murphy. I'm assuming you would start all 3 of them. And then you got Jared Allen anchoring the paint.
So he's going to do all the rebounding. Larry
Wait, so Chill, you've never played NBA 2K a day in your life?
Never, not one day. I'm sorry.
All right. Well, okay. So when you play NBA 2K, it was 2 things. When you make a trade, it gives you like a percentage to where the team is going to take it or not. So you would just plug and play and just try to fleece the game all day, all night. You go to every single team and you're just looking at the ratings and you're like, boom, I want to get there. But they also had this thing called Trade Finder. And that's when 2K tried to fleece you. You would put up one of your top 3 players, and what you would get in return was insanity. But this was
in a good way or a bad way? Insanity
in a bad way. It was the computer. It was like playing Blitz, but I don't know if you play Blitz, but this was a huge part of NBA 2K, and you missed out on that. And I hate that for you.
I apologize.
It's never too late though.
Still, PC Weekend Part 2. We can play 2K.
Yeah,
I'll show you a little bit about it.
Please do, because clearly I'm out the loop when it comes to video games. I'm
Damn, Chill, you never played video games?
I mean, I'm Super Mario Brothers and Nintendo and stuff like that.
No.
Yeah, I was on that stuff. But the 2K.
Chill, what was your favorite character? Super Mario Brothers.
Oh, Luigi.
Yeah, because he had the bounce.
Mm-hmm.
He only had 2 to choose from. He only had Mario and Luigi.
Didn't have Bowser in your time?
They didn't expand yet. He could get Yoshi.
Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm. I'm not. I don't even. To be honest with you, Shaq, if you ask him, the controllers, this is some futuristic Matrix kind of stuff. I'm like, how the hell is this stuff even work? So I mean, I'm sure I can pick it up. I've seen the people with the my niece has. She's actually put one of those things on my head, and I thought I was in the Matrix. I was like, take this shit off. This is crazy.
Chill, do you play poker?
I don't play poker, but I do play rummy.
Okay. I don't know if they got any rummy games, but they got some crazy poker apps on the Facebook, on the Oculus. And it's like, in a super futuristic with that. The Oculus is dope. The problem is it just doesn't have enough hardware in games and fluidity for my liking. But the Apple one, that's 4 bands, that look nice. They'll never fleece me like that, but it looks nice.
Yeah, I've seen that.
It's gonna be crazy. In a couple of years, there'll be a bunch of high school kids probably wearing that to school every other day.
Oh, we're heading to the Matrix because you guys think the internet is real life.
You guys, I'm an old head. I'm closer to Chill Town than the young kids. I'm repping the old.
Yeah, we're all old heads up here. Yeah, we're all old heads.
Mars think I was at Chamberlain's 100-point game. That's how old he think I am.
The fact.
Well, I think you should have been at the game and said you decided to do something else that day. That's the problem.
Missing history.
He was around during that time.
Yeah, if you was at that game, you know how many views we'd get if we had someone who's actually at the game.
Right? Do we ever try that? Can you call some friends? Chill, you have to have some friends who was there. You have no friends who were there. Is anybody they would know who was at that game?
Probably has like a younger sibling who was there.
Yo, wait, Chill. Was Shaq a crybaby growing up?
No.
He was hard nosed.
Yeah, Sarge was not having that.
So nobody wanted to wrestle with him. None of the cousins. That was like, nah, I'm cool.
He was way bigger than all of us.
Yeah, dude, 7 feet, 200.
He was way bigger than all of us. It wasn't like he was.
At what age was he taller than Bama?
At what age was he taller than Bama? That's like fifth grade. Like fifth grade.
Shout out Bama, man. Shout out Bama.
Like fifth grade.
Imagine we do PC weekend and a baby Shaq in the fifth grade pulls up to Bama and just lifts him off the ground. Like, what you doing, little man?
That's crazy, chill. Because I was named after Shaq.
The Diesel
in the year 1990.
Shaq wasn't even.
And they wasn't gonna give me his middle name, but they stuck to it. Well, my dad, he stuck to it. Then he left my life to never be heard of again. That was his parting gift.
Thanks, Dad.
Dang.
Take care.
That's a hell of a parting gift.
Thanks, Dad. I appreciate you.
I didn't have any choice but to hoop. It was pushed in my face so much, which that is an actual study.
You got to be a basketball dude. Yep. Your name is Shaquille.
Yeah.
So
it worked out.
You can't work in a bank named Shaquille. You can't do that.
No, that's not. I worked at Pizza Hut.
All right. You can work at Pizza Hut because that's a cool nickname. Shaq working at Pizza Hut. You can't work at Bank of America with a name tag like Shaq. No, it can't happen.
In this day and age, you can get about anything off. But you're right. About 15 years ago.
Nah. I see a dude with a name tag named Shaq. I'm like, nah, I ain't going.
Shaq.
Because my money gonna get tricky if I deal with him. So nah.
Yo, the craziest part is my mom, as a single mom, raised me like with 4 kids, and she's waking up at 6 and getting back at 6. So she taught me how to grind. But she raised us amazingly. But I had some sketchy ass years of my life where I'm like, yeah, that's Shaq. His name's Shaquille. What did you think? What did you expect?
Shout out to never meeting your pops though, and turning out to be something. Shout out to that.
Thanks, Chill.
I definitely.
I mean,
I can definitely dig that.
Chill. Growing up, even with Ron, like all my best friends had their dads in their life, so I thought, you know, it was very a mythical thing to not have your dad, because those stats come from inner city, you know, places in America. But where I grew up at, nah, it was just me and maybe one other. Every school I was in.
I can dig that. Sure.
Me too. Especially grew up with a single mom, especially being South Asian, where it's a lot less common. Like you just don't see that. You tend to be a lot more
at all.
Households. It was very rare because all my cousins, all the fathers were there, this and that. So, but I always had a big close family, so I guess didn't feel it. But I hear you. It's definitely different for sure. But you definitely appreciate when you're older though, how like your mom would still show up to things. I don't know whether it was a basketball tournament or whatever. I just remember like it was like a Christmas concert when I was in grade 3. I was just looking for my mom, but she was just there in the corner coming after work. She worked at Tim Hortons, like coffee shop. It was just so happy. I know you probably say it to anytime your mom showed up, you're so happy, but you just realize when you're older how hard it was for them to show up based on them having 2 jobs, 16-hour shifts, things of that nature.
From high school,
Ron for sure knows the struggle.
From high school all the way up to when I was playing at Utah State, that my mother had to sit somewhere where I couldn't see her because I couldn't focus. Because my mother's my mother's like 5'3", 5'4", something like that. But she was the loudest person in the whole gym, and I can't focus. I'm trying to listen to Coach. He's talking to me, and she's screaming at me. I'm like, Ma, you got to sit somewhere else because I can't focus on. And I mean, Utah State and Logan, it's an 11,000 seat arena. I had to have her sit upstairs because if she's sitting in the first 2 rows, she's screaming at me, and I can't hear when I'm trying to work. I can't do that, Mom. I'm trying to work.
Chill, did your mom's hoop?
She didn't. She played volleyball. That's where I got the athletic ability from my mother. She played volleyball.
Yo, my mom hangs her hat on the fact that she could dunk, which she did. She actually could dunk. Me and her at the same path going to JUCO to Division I. She went to Wisconsin, and she still has a bunch of records. But she was a rebounder, and she was like hard nosed. So she be seeing my game. But the first time we played, I was like 11, and when I say she put it on me, like all post work and just grit and just, I was like.
Didn't know moms had it like that.
Did not know.
Where you think you get it from? There you go.
Yeah, like, boy, I played in the Final Four. Stop playing with me. I should have been in the league, but it wasn't around yet. I was about to go overseas, but I had your sister. So any other questions?
I think we're done here. Yep. I think we're done. But shout out to parents, man. Shout out. I know what that's about. I definitely know what that's about. I had to make sure that my daughter knew that no matter what, you're going to know who I am, and you're going to know where I am, and you're going to know that I'm around. So whenever you need me, I am not hard to find. I'm not going to be one of those people that I just disappear and 20 years later, I wonder, what my father was like, and I wonder what he looked like and stuff like, nah, that's not going to be me. No. You know where I am. You want to come see me? I'll come see you. I was at soccer matches and ball games, and you in Greece, Shaq. So, because I was over there too, people don't recognize how big a deal soccer is, and they think that because you are an athlete, you automatically know about every sport. My daughter got into soccer. I don't know nothing about soccer, Shaq. So I'm sitting down watching the World Cup because I got to learn this. I don't know. I don't want to be that dumbass parent at the game. Like, all right, what's going on? And of course, I'm watching my daughter, and she's a goalie. And I'm thinking to myself, yo, you got the easiest job because you back there chilling. My best friend is like, yo, are you crazy? Her blood pressure higher than anybody's on the whole field. No. What you talking about?
You always on go. Always on go.
That was, of course, Jack, until I seen the action come down the field and like she getting a stance. I was like, oh shit, this is serious. Because I don't know nothing about soccer. So I get it.
That's a fact. Before I forget, shout out Mars, Taylor Swift at the Grammys. Congratulations on album of the year.
Okay.
But the first soccer game, also shout out Mars. First soccer game I ever went to was my team, Olympiacos versus Arsenal. And when I tell you, we don't talk about that game. Yeah, I know it was tricky. We had to pack y'all up, but it was Champions League. I believe that's the highest league. That was the last year they were in it, right before COVID. And boy, I was just floored at just like how crazy they are about soccer, to the point where I'm looking at my son like, yo, if we live over here in Europe, you gonna hoop, but I'm really trying to get you out there on that soccer field for real, for real. You got the athleticism. It's brothers all in the league, and they be the coldest ones. You will see somebody that's never been to America looking like a brother from LA. The drip, the swag, everything. You like, damn, y'all just hoopers on the field. Need me a Ballon d'Or.
Go look at France's team. It's predominantly, I want to say, in their starting lineup, it's like, I want to say 7 or 8 out of the 11. I would say.
Who's that one dude, Mo? I think he played for the French national team. He had a mohawk or damn.
Is he talking about Paul Pogba? Yeah, Paul Pogba.
Is that the one with the he got like a spot of color in his hair? That dude.
Yeah. He had that for a little bit.
That's the dude I'm thinking about. So, and I didn't know, because I was in England too, and I didn't know how serious soccer was. Where I was in Manchester, and I didn't know that. If I'm in Manchester and a dude in Liverpool, if Mars lives in Liverpool,
shout out Liverpool,
and I'm in Manchester. Like, Mars got to meet me somewhere else, because they'll kill me if they know that I'm in Manchester and I'm down with Manchester and I come to watch a game in Liverpool. We got to go watch it somewhere else, because they'll end up killing me over there. I didn't know that. I didn't know it was that serious. I did.
Yeah, it's
kind of joke. Yeah, soccer.
Shout out to Liverpool. I didn't know. We're in a pack on Sunday. Shout out to Liverpool, man.
Hey, shout out, man.
We'll be back next week.
Mars was nice in soccer. Quiet as kept.
Low key.
Mars doesn't want to talk about how he was a protege.
I've heard. Really nice. I've heard.
I've seen the videos.
Yeah,
I've broken down Mars soccer film before.
Video of me playing football is at Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game. You say you got the footage, you like.
Ron's Carmelo.
Yeah, you capping right now.
Hey, I'll prove that Carmelo's not lying.
Oh man!
Shout out Mars though, in his storied soccer past. Maybe one day we'll get the full analytics.
Maybe when we get the James Harden story.
We're still waiting on that. Still waiting on that.
Hey,
what is the holdup?
If James Harden makes it to the championship, don't not even win.
Shaq, this is bullshit, Shaq. You know why? Because it's always the goalpost is moving. Like, if James Harden makes it to the championship, okay, he makes it to the championship. Then, if he wins the Finals MVP, he wins if he's at the parade in a Bentley, it's gonna be some bullshit with Ron. Always. There's always some nonsense.
Give a subscriber count. Be like when PC reaches 150K.
We was meant to do it a certain episode, and he never did it. Then he changed the episode and he never did it again.
There's always something with Ron. Always.
Ron.
The episode drops on Tuesday.
There's two stories. There's two stories, but I'll tell you how the story started.
Red Lightning.
I'm just gonna get him
to come on. Like, we gotta make substitutions anyway. So
first off, of course, whatever whoop-de-woo. We see James in the hallway. I'm just visiting back in Arizona. I'm coming back from Europe. And we're just at the W chilling. We try to get into the pool party, but we didn't have the correct attire. Boom. So we like, damn, they're not gonna let us up. And at the W in Scottsdale, Arizona, it's like this big stairwell to get up to the pool. So, and it's like 2 bodyguards. So you can't even be elusive and try to like sneak in or do none of that. We walk in, go to the right. They look at us head to toe. You guys are not getting in. I kid you not. I'm on my phone. I look over, and guess who happens to walk in with the entourage? Here comes good old James. Walk in, dap me up. We showing love. Yo, hey, bro, take my new number. I take his new number. Like, yeah, what we on tonight? I kid you not. We go back over to the pool party, and the guy was like, yo, they're with James. And that's chapter 1 of the entire story. And chapter from there, 1, it only elevates. 1.
W. James Harden. That's all
like you
James. He's solid.
W. James Harden.
Yeah, that's solid. James Harden
started amazing.
I agree.
Was that
Doesn't that sound like?
Was that difficult, Ron?
Hey, I think we should end the story there. It sounds like James Harden's the good guy.
It starts off good. It might end
okay, wait, Ron, you could at least open the book. That's fine. You don't want to give us nothing.
Listen, Ron's not allowed at that W. I guarantee you, if Ron walks, based off what happened in the rest of that story.
Lightly knowing Ron, I already know it's something about James Harden girl, Ron making something along those lines. I feel like he making a move on his chick. I think that
I don't know why. Terrible. Hey, it's a country barrier because Mars, this has never happened to you. I don't know what's wrong with Toronto. Why their Wi-Fi is so cheap? Might have something to do with the Raptors, or I don't know, but they need to get it together up there. I'm telling you, those Canadians.
Man.
I'm telling you.
Well, at least the book got open. The book got open, so I at least know, where we're going with this story. I at least know that where we're going with this story. And Ron,
it's so bad. It's so bad that me and James follow each other on IG. If I remind him of that, he's gonna unfollow. And I'm just trying to hold on to that little bit of dignity because of my best friend. He'll see me and be like, "You got terrible friends," and I'm before my Wi-Fi goes out, I'm gonna just leave it at that.
So Ron's the bad guy, and he's mad at James Harden.
No, I do understand where we are. I got a best friend, just like this dude right here, Shaq. I got a best. Shaq's relationship with Ron is one of those relationships, just like mine with my best friend, where I know stuff about him. If I told you, I'd have to kill you. That's what kind of relationship this is. I get it. I absolutely get it.
I mean, Ron's been around. We grew up in Seattle, so we've met so many top tier famous people. That to where when you get around him, you're supposed to act like that. But Ron doesn't act like that.
Shaq
as a best friend. Like me, I'm cool. I'm good. Yo, hey, it's me. Yeah. This is my bro. Hello.
I already know it. Ron is the dude that when we go out, he's the one we got to talk to. This is where we going. This is who we about to go see. This is what we're going to be doing while we there. So act like you've been somewhere before. Act like that's who Ron is. I get it. No doubt. I got a man like that, Shaq. You ain't by yourself.
We all do.
Like I got a man night for the books. Everybody had a good night.
Mm-hmm. It don't sound like it. It don't. It sounded to me like it started out good. Like we got on the road.
Amazing.
It sounded like it started out great.
We can tell chapter 2 because chapter 2 was amazing. Okay, if I still had Snapchat. Oh my God, the footage that I would be able to pull up at the pool party of chapter 2 with that wedding party.
Here's the problem.
Chill. I'm gonna just put it like this, Chill. Right quick, Chill. The footage of this night would clear. I mean, absolutely clear the footage of that punk ass 100-point game. I'm gonna just leave it there.
It's like
I'm gonna leave it there.
Ron putting up some points too. He was putting up some points too.
So now, Shaq, what you can't do is you can't tell any more of the story, because if you do tell more of the story, you're gonna have to tell the rest of the story, because you can't leave
until I get cleared. Until I get cleared from Ron. It's been 3 years since we've even gotten to this point. So until I'm able to get clearance from Ron, there were some highlights, but there was some lows.
So we're actually so 3 years later, we're actually in therapy now. Like we haven't even been able to talk about this up until this point.
Yeah. No, it's never Ron. Remember that one? It's never that. It's never that. Okay. That don't even. Ron, remember that one time? No. We know it happened. James knows it happened. Some other people knows it happened, but yeah.
Can't take the dude nowhere, man. I swear. Yeah. Ron is the live wire that you can't take him nowhere. He don't know how to act. Yeah, I know what it is. I do know what it is with him. So, shout out to Ron. Shout out to best friend.
Yeah, moving along. I don't know where Ron left off with the. Oh, I can't even put him up on the screen. I need to get my StreamYard clearance.
Damn, you ain't got the power.
I was gonna say,
it's not. Remember, I mean, everything runs through Ron. But I guess since Ron's out of here, I guess we can talk about Kyrie Irving and the Dallas Mavericks in the movement on the court when I'm watching Kyrie. I used to be a Kyrie hater just because of off of the court stuff, but I swear to you, the way that man plays basketball is really insane.
So so if that's true, Shaq, then why do I keep hearing stuff like, what do the Dallas Mavericks need to do to get a trade? And you just traded for Kyrie Irving, right? You traded for Grant Williams. You got this young, lively big in Lively, right? You got him. Tim Hardaway is a long ball shooter. At what point do we start to hold players accountable?
It's not Kyrie that we got to hold accountable. It's red light, green light, Tim Hardaway Jr. Mm-hmm. It's no yellow for him. I'm either going to smoke you for 5 trips or I'm missing 13. And I don't get it. I don't get it.
One could argue.
I don't get it.
One could argue that's a good thing.
Because Luka should not have to score 40 in order for us to win. He shouldn't have to do that. He shouldn't have to be 40, 15, and 18 rebounds. He should not have to do that in order for us to have a shot to win. And that's what's going on with this Dallas Maverick team. And I'm trying to figure out why.
I'm doing that because Kyrie was there. I mean, to be fair, it's the Sixers who are kind of cooked, but they still won. But
they still look decent though.
You could with Tim Hardaway. You could argue it's better to have a player who is either all the way on or all the way off. Because if you get in a playoff series, he can win you games going 7 for 9 from 3.
That's a fair point.
Now, if he's going 3 for 7 every game, it's like, yeah, cool. You know what you're going to get. You're going to get 12 points, 3 threes.
So you're saying it's easy to game plan against that?
Yeah, but the games where he explodes for 28,
you can't plan.
I can win you games in series. Right. Now, over the course of a series, that's very valuable, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Now, the games where he doesn't make any, Dallas needs to figure out a way to win, which is
I just hate.
It's somewhat valuable.
What's good, Damo? What I don't like was when I wasn't here, Jay Kids saying that Luka was better than Dirk Nowitzki and that he should be in that conversation of, I think he named Kobe and I don't think he named MJ, but I'm pretty sure he named Kobe. And there was one other player, but he said that Jason Kidd about Luka Dončić about maybe 4 or 5 days ago. Mm-hmm. And he said we have to get off the train of comparing Luka to Dirk. He's way better than Dirk. And to me,
yes, he did say that. Yes, he did.
This is what I don't like about that situation. Yeah. He did say that.
He played with Dirk too. That's tough.
Mm-hmm. He did say that.
In an era where the stuff that Luka supposedly gets away with now, those players didn't even have the luxury to even attempt to get away with because the game is all about evolution. We have to address that. We can't act like it was the same 2 eras. What Luka does out there, pouting on defense, kind of lazy on defense, not giving 100% effort on defense, would be greatly exposed back in the day. Somehow Dirk got away with it. I'm not saying that, but I think that a lot of Luka's buckets is due to a very relaxed defense. That's just me. Now, the game has evolved into this. Luka probably would find a way to get buckets back in the day easily, but that's all a hypothetical. When we're talking about a player who played with Dirk and just writes off everything that he did, mm-hmm. in just an uncalculated moment, I think J Kidd just wanted to go viral. But I don't think that he clears Dirk as of this point right now, based off of being a good player who hasn't won anything. Because if I go down the line, then Paul George also clears Dirk.
Just based off skill set.
Just based off of it's just clearly the eye test. I mean, PG took his teams further than or just as far. okay, when you talk about numbers, inflated numbers, okay, I see where we're going there. But we can grab any who are other guys that we can just grab that put up crazy numbers in these type of situations? And Jason Tatum is better than Dirk Nowitzki.
Karl Anthony Towns.
I'm just saying it's easy to say these things.
Better 3-point shooter.
If I know it sounds ridiculous, Miles, but if you're going based off the crazy numbers, that's the stance that he's taking. There's no real context to it, and to say that
I think it's more so than just numbers, though. I think
he compared him to Kobe, and I don't know.
That's low. Look, defensively, obviously, that's ridiculous. In the offensive end, it talks about playmaking, passing. Again, scoring, I still think Kobe's a better scorer, but Luka's not some slouch. And when you said he's taking easy buckets, I don't know. A lot of Luka's shots are step back threes, fadeaways. Like he does it to me.
I can't guard you.
He creates a lot of space, guard you.
Though.
So you can't guard.
Yeah, I can't guard. I can't do as a defensive player. I'm handicapped. As a defensive player, I cannot guard any of these offensive talents. I'm sorry, it's impossible for me to guard you. And I don't agree with bringing the hand check back because then now it's overcorrected back to the defense. Because if I'm slower than you, all I have to do is put this little arm right here and control everywhere you go. That's completely cheating. But what the offense is able to do right now is also cheating. It's unguardable.
It is.
I
can't leave my man, my help defense, Damo.
Can I just chime in real quick? Just real quick.
Talk to us.
He's such a special talent and so already leading the floor at just 21, 22. And he's just unbelievable. He's just unbelievable all around game. Said Nowitzki, I would say is better than me now than I've ever been in my prime. And that's how good he is at 22 already. I understand we want to respect these players. I understand maybe Luka's young and it's too early. But if Nowitzki himself is on record saying Luka is better, I have no problem with a teammate of his saying Luka is better. Now, if you want to say, oh, maybe he shouldn't be saying he's in the Kobe conversation, fair. I won't argue that we can have that conversation. I do feel like that's leaning more to, he's not ready to be in that conversation yet. Fine. But to say that we should, if there's a problem with J-Kid saying he's better than Dirk because they're teammates, competitors, whatever it was, Dirk said it himself. I don't know
what else Dirk was supposed to say. Dirk is the nicest NBA player when he was playing and after retirement. Of course, he has to pay homage to a fellow European. This is how you advance the game. Like and he's going to have a softer spot for him because he plays on the same team. Their games don't really mimic, but it's kind of all that same thing that goes into it. I don't have to get into details or specifics. If you want to, I can try to draw some correlations, but I don't think that there are. But I think he was just being extremely nice.
So Damo,
I don't think he has to say he's better than him, though. I
want to hear another NBA player that said that, another legend that has said that about a player that's up and coming.
That they're better than them?
Yeah, like Kobe saying Bron's better than me, or when Bron will say that I'll pass the torch to somebody, Anthony Edwards, you're better than me, or just any instance of that. If I'm Dirk, the lovable guy I am, I'm at the cookout, I'm going to keep it. I know how to keep it real. This is what you guys want me to say. I'm more lovable now. Luka is off the hinges. He's crazy.
Is Dirk at 22 years old? Because that's year 3 for Dirk. That's the 2000-2001 season. Is that Dirk comparable to 22-year-old Luka?
Hell no.
They was in the Western Conference Championship 2 years ago. Are those two guys comparable?
No, they're not.
I think they had two totally different games to even compare their impact to what they did. I know one won a championship, and I also think that Luka is a better player than Dirk. Will he have a better career based off of numbers? Of course. It's already heading to that trajectory. But when you bunny hop Dirk, who we say is a top, we don't even know. We don't even put Dirk in the top,
25?
He's definitely a top 25.
So 51.
Yeah, top 25.
Okay, so Dirk. So Dirk's at the top 25. I guarantee you, there's half of this stream can name 25 players that they feel is better than Dirk. Probably 30 to 35. 50 was a stretch, but I think the back end of 30 is where Dirk really truly lies when we factor in everybody that's contributed to this game. And that one championship is the only thing that was the nail in the coffin to hang him right there. And that's all you need sometimes because you're going up against other players who have no championships and or one championship. That's fair. But for him, so Luka's already a top 25 player. to ever play.
It depends on what conversation we're having.
If Kid did this, I didn't.
Based on eye test, I think it's based on eye test.
I feel like Kid is just talking about skill. I think this is a better conversation, not greater. The things you're
I
talking
wish we
about,
had this quote because I don't even want to misquote him.
I feel you. It feels like you're comparing them in terms of greatness and who's greater all time. Like we brought up players clearing guys. I feel like you're thinking from a greater aspect.
He can clear Dirk.
I don't think in terms of greatness, he's not past Dirk in greatness. But if you want to say, I mean, skill for skill, roll the ball on the court, who's the better basketball player? It is not insane to say Luka is a better basketball player than Dirk. That's not crazy.
They're totally different. And I would take Luka depending on my team because there's some team makeups where I'm taking Dirk. And there's, so it's based off what you need because Dirk is that good. But when you bunny hop Dirk, and I'm just surprised El Host has not found this quote yet because I've been trying to drop the breadcrumbs for for my brother to pick up because I don't want to keep misquoting J Kidd. But Ron, whenever you find the quote, I think he said he should be in the conversation of Kobe. Even talent, I'm not giving him that. Kobe, and it was one more person, maybe LeBron.
It was LeBron and Jordan.
He said, I just Googled it. It said he's better than Dirk. He's in the atmosphere of MJ, the best to ever do it, LeBron and Kobe.
So he's a top 10, top 5 player all time, or he could be, I guess.
And you know what J Kidd is doing? The same damn thing that Dirk was doing. Just getting up there and chatting. No way in hell is he in the same atmosphere because if Luka's in that same atmosphere, then we got to bring a few more guys into that atmosphere.
Jokic?
Oh my God. Jokic is Steph for shoe-ins. KD, you come in here too.
Yeah.
And I would not mind if Mike Malone was in an interview and he's talking about Jokic or however he feels about Jokic, whatever the conversation is. I have no problem with him saying, and I feel like Jokic needs to be in these conversations with the all-time great centers of all time. Hell, even the all-time
like Hakeem and Shaq, right? Like Hakeem and Shaq, right? And Tim Duncan.
He's one of the next GOATs. What is that coach supposed to say? That's their play. I can respect that. I understand it. That is.
You went a long time without saying it.
You can say that stuff, Damo, but you got to be realistic too. So, like you just said, he's got to be in the conversation. That Mike Malone said, he's got to be in the conversation with the all-time great GOATs. Can you be a little bit more specific? So, when Jason Kidd says something like, "Yo, I think that Dirk Nowitzki, I think that Luka is in the same atmosphere as Jordan." Like, well, whoa, hang on. Can you elaborate on that? Just like if Mike Malone were to say, "Yo, I think that Joker is as good as Olajuwon." Really? Can you elaborate on that? You can't just say that just because you're the coach, because you, as the head coach of a team in the NBA, NBA champion, to be specific, you have credibility. So you can't just throw names out like that and there's nothing really behind it.
Can I ask the players that he's talking about he should be in a conversation with, what did they do in their first 6 years of the league?
Right.
No, because I get that. I get that.
Kobe had three rings.
All right. That's that. All right. Outside of Kobe, so LeBron and Jordan.
Luka's on a trajectory. Luka's on a trajectory to join those guys, but it's okay.
LeBron was an MVP and
not say he's at their level yet. It's okay.
I'm with you. But it's extremely irresponsible to compare that era to this era because it's inflate. You can poke holes into every argument because it's been so many rule changes to favor the gram. We want more scoring. We want higher scoring games. We want more this and that. We want more gymnastics, all this stuff, guys dunking. So it's just like to compare this era to that era, it's different. Now, this era's playoff basketball. Now, that's something I can get behind. But in-season averages with guys can do whatever, literally, to the point where we had to put into a 65-game minimum to try to control this, it just goes to show that the league isn't as competitive. No way, shape, or form. There's not as much pride, no way, shape, or form as it was when those guys were playing. It just simply meant more because you're coming from the back. Yeah, you're well paid, but you're not getting paid like these guys are getting paid.
Fellas,
that's all that I'm saying.
We got to transition. Jalen, appreciate you for
coming. We don't have to. Damo can explain it.
All right, Jalen, I'm going to holler at you.
Thanks, Jalen.
Goodbye, Jalen. You're muted, Damo.
Oh, damn, I'm muting myself. To talk. I feel where you're coming from. I can't get with the concept of because of the way the league is played now, I'm supposed to look at what Luka is doing, how talented he is, and take it with a grain of salt compared to how talented those guys are in their era. I'm not saying that we consider what these players are doing in terms of winning or anything like that. Just how gifted these players are, what they're able to do on the court in the game of basketball with a basketball. In terms of the first 6 years being in the league, even in today's era, not that many guys are giving you a resume or giving you the things that Luka's able to do in his first 6 years. Not a lot of guys is able to do that. If we're having a conversation about a guy that's hovering around doing what a lot of guys are able to do, then Shaq, I feel you. Yeah, slow down putting this guy up here. Everyone is doing this. The things Luka is doing, everyone's not doing that. Only the elite, barely half of the elite players are doing what Luka's able to do on the court. So this is something different.
It's a lot of them doing a majority of what they're doing, of what he's doing, though. There is the gap is way closer than it was back then. And I'll leave you with this, Damo. Let's just talk about life in general. Last year, it's a double week. We on the PJ. Hey, I'm about to fly in the cockpit with the pilot. We get in there. I'm looking around. I'm in there the entire trip. He's explaining everything down to me from, this button does this button does that, this button does this. But hey, this doesn't matter anymore because a computer flies this thing. Versus back in the day when they really had to get it out the mud to take off and land and coast while in the air, it was much different than what we're dealing with now. So all I'm saying is the game evolves. And that's cool. So to just say a blanket statement like that and just kind of say with Jordan in that type of realm, that type of atmosphere, Luka, no, you're not. You're in a different atmosphere. And I think that the guys in the future won't be able to catch you.
It's crazy to make that statement. First of all, that's like you said earlier, that's very irresponsible of Jason Kidd just to come out and say that. But if you're gonna say that, so I don't like the backlash KD was getting last week for saying that he should be involved in GOAT talk, but it's okay to have a conversation with Kobe Bryant and Luka Dončić. You know what I'm saying? Like that's insane. Because if KD clears Luka, prime KD, whatever KD and this Luka, KD clears. So it's just crazy to me that conversation isn't okay, but it's okay to talk about Luka and Kobe in the same sentence.
Damo, when you're talking about when you're talking about what the game is today, right? I can definitely get with the logic that this is my era, and I dominated my era. You dominated your era. Only except it's not that simple. If it was that simple, then the guys who were dominating their eras more, that would just be the end of it. I mean, the game is different. Like Shaq talked about hand checking. I mean, it's a lot more difficult to play defense today. Number one, the skill level is up. Number two, I got to be smarter defensively because I can't do what I used to be able to do. I can't be as physical with you. Rebounding is different. Playing defense is different. Shooting gap, all of this stuff is different. So it enhances the offense. Now, if during that time, which is today, if I'm able to play like that during my era, how much better would I have been? So if you're going to put me in a conversation with this guy, it's not relative because our eras aren't relevant.
I'm hearing error attacks.
Gotta put an error tax.
Honestly, I'm hearing error tax.
That's only because the game is different, Mars. It's not because your game.
Exactly.
It's
not the error tax.
It's not
nothing's wrong with error tax. I've been pushing for error tax as long as I've been here.
Because when I think about Luka's game, I think Luka would have been nice in the 80s for what he does, how he shoots the long ball, how he distributes. I think he would have been good in the 80s. I think he would have struggled a little bit with the physicality, considering how much he complains about everything. But other than that, in terms of his skill set, I think he would have been fine in the 90s. That's not my issue. My issue is that when the game changes, like it's changed now, Damo brought this point up, and I have to accept it. The fact that what would you have said, Chill, 20 years ago if I would have told you that the lead guard 20 years from now is going to be Gilbert Arenas and Allen Iverson? I would have never bought that. But that's what the game is today. That's what the lead guard is today. So I got to accept that this is how the game is played. I got to judge you on what you're doing today as opposed to what you could have done.
Yes. But Luka's not in the same atmosphere as Kobe.
No, he is not. No, he is not. And I won't even entertain that conversation. He is not. Luka is not. No. Mm-mm.
We're all on the same page.
Because if that's the case, I don't even want to know what J Kid's going to say about Wemby in 4 years.
I know what I'm about to say about Wemby in 4 years. If his first 5 years is looking like Luka's first 6 years is looking, I'm gonna say he's ready to be put. He's trending towards some conversations.
Here we go.
I want them to take deploy. I want them to take J Kidd's mic away. Stop asking questions.
He didn't have to say that. I don't know how he got to that.
No, I mean, J Kidd played the game, so I mean, he been between.
I don't care at all, Mars.
He played against Kobe and Mike and bro.
What was the workup like? What did the announcer ask him?
My thing is,
get his blood conjuring like that.
You're supposed to hype up your players, but you're not supposed to lie for them. That's a completely different thing. It's goes from every step of the game. You're never supposed to lie for your players, but hyping them up and talking about how talking about they're good. Yeah, Damo, I don't know if you're in the chat or if you're talking about what I said. I'm not sure.
No. I'm talking about, no, that was for you.
Okay, yeah. You're not supposed to lie for your players. That's a bad. It's a bad practice.
But is it lying?
It comes back on you.
I'm gonna say
I don't believe that.
Don't call a delusional person a liar. That's crazy. They really believe the crazy stuff they saying. He might genuinely feel that way. He might just be crazy.
I find it hard to believe that he does feel that way. But if he, I can't. You're right. I can't tell you what he really believes. I just think it's insane to believe that, and it's so insane. I'm gonna call him. I'm gonna just say he just lied. And on top of that, it's a couple things. Like I heard earlier, y'all was talking for a second. The Zach LaVine thing. I got too much respect for Zach LaVine to act like he's faking injuries to not go to Detroit. I consider Zach LaVine a hooper, and to think that a guy would, because I mean he's in Chicago. Like, you play for the Bulls, you play for the Pistons. It doesn't matter if you're gonna lose 50 games. It doesn't matter if you lose 50 or 70. So you know what I'm saying. I believe Zach. I don't think Zach LaVine is just faking an injury.
With that, you also know there's guys with torn ACLs where they have options of rehab or getting surgery. Not all instances, but I'm saying some weird things. Exactly. Okay, so some weird things happen to where you can stay and stick it out, or you can see that you don't have a market and you don't want to go to any of these places. So now I'm about to hit the reset button. And that's the situation. And that's one of them mindsets. Like, Ox, when you just sitting there, you like, damn, when am I going to be selfish for myself? My entire career has been, I've let everybody else dictate, and I've gotten to the money, I've gotten to the bread, I've proved myself over and over again, but I'm looking at my peers and I'm like, I have no way in shape and form been in situations that they in, and I could possibly go my whole career like that, to not have one fighting chance to make a deep playoff run since you've been in the league. And I'm not saying everybody deserves that, but I think a guy like Zach LaVine, if MPJ's getting it, and then MPJ's also getting close to max, you'll stop playing with me.
So, do you think that if Zach LaVine, and my bad, I ain't want to go all the way back to the beginning of the show, it's my tardiness, but do you think that if Zach was in talks to go to Miami, do you think that he wouldn't have got the surgery? He would be trying to play through it?
I think on any contender or place that he wanted to go, he would have played through it, maybe waited, I don't want to say into the summer, but just to a better situation. Or maybe he would have opted for rehab. Like, you got to understand, when you go to a doctor, like with these team doctors I've dealt with in my entire career, the first thing a doctor is going to tell you is you need surgery. You go to somebody who's a rehab person or a chiropractor that say, no, you just got to come in here and do these workouts. So that's why you got second opinions. So with that being said, if I go to Miami, well, shit, maybe I'm going to try to rehab it. And then if I rehab it, I got a longer, I'm in a better situation. My mental is good. My sales are going in a positive manner. My hurts are on point. I'm just saying. But if you're telling me, in Kyrie, I applaud him for taking a stance and doing the same thing. Like, at some point in time, I'm going to take advantage of these loopholes if I can as a player.
But Shaq, when we're talking about these players, aren't we forgetting how young they are when they first show up? And when I first show up, I'm not thinking about winning championships. I'm not thinking about making deep playoff runs. I'm 20 years old. I'm trying to stick. So if I'm on a bad team, I'm not. That's exactly what I'm thinking. I'm thinking about getting to my next contract. Well, then we get later on in my career when I'm in year 5, year 6, and I see MPJ sign a $200 million deal. And in addition to signing a $200 million deal, he's on a championship team. I'm thinking, wait a minute, yo, I'm nice like that. And y'all going to start talking about him. And you're going to say that he's better than me when I know for a fact that I'm better than him. But because I'm on a losing team, that now I am not in that category. So then when I actually go and get on a better team, well, now what I'm doing is I'm ring chasing, or I'm trying to put myself in a better situation. Oh, I'm stacking the deck. Well, no, I wasn't. When I first got in the league,
we pick and choose. We pick and choose who we put that under. Like, if we don't like the way somebody skipped town, But I think for a guy that's never been anywhere, and I don't think Zach LaVine would be considered as a stack in the deck type of guy, because any team that he goes to, he wouldn't be 1A. I mean, he wouldn't be 1B or the second. He would be the third option, clearly. So for him to go to that situation, whoever that acquired him, we'll look at them like, yo, y'all stack the deck. But we'd never put that on Zach, especially like when half of us don't even believe in his game right now. And I also think, to say this to Ox, he never was talking. We never knew anything about surgery until we heard about Detroit Pistons. The next day, he was getting surgery.
I did not know he was that hurt. I did not know he was that hurt.
It wasn't even 32 hours. It was.
He missed a lot of games though.
But I mean, but even
so sad.
Right. So
what was that super chat, Ron?
Your Highness Charles said, Mars, you guys are saved. Apparently, the Nets keep rejecting the Rockets' offer. The Nets' plan is to try to go after Donovan Mitchell this summer. I might be looking for a new team. I'm tired of dumb GMs.
They're
Mitch isn't going there
because we're not offering Jalen Green because we know better than to do that. That's why they're rejecting the Rockets' offers. But yeah, the Nets are just trolling. I'm not gonna lie, they're leaking all this information about how much they're asking for their players. They know they're lying. They're just trying to up the price of their players.
So the linchpin is Jalen Green. Is that the problem? That's what
because they know Jalen Green untouchable.
Right.
So
that's
Ron, can you put that list I just sent you up, because I want to hear something from Damo, just because Damo, I want to get you some reps up in here. It's the free agency list for this summer, and I would love for you to point out the biggest free agent that's on this list.
Chilltown. Speaking of D Mitch, I'm with you 100% on that one.
You think he better than Shai too?
Come on, man. I'm tired of this. I'm so tired of this.
Have you had it, Big Ox? Have you had it?
I'm through with it.
Shay's crazy, bro.
I don't get what you guys aren't seeing.
I see what you see, Mars and Shai. I see what you see. I see the mid-range. I see the change of direction. I see the craftiness. I see him finishing at the rim. I see him in the clutch at the free throw line. I see all of that. But I also see Donovan Mitchell doing the same thing. I see him finishing at the rim. I see him playing above the rim. I see him shooting in the mid-range. I see him at the free throw line. I see him in the playoffs. I have not seen Shai in the playoffs yet. I have not seen him in the postseason. That is a problem. I can't just jump a guy because it looks good. That's not enough.
Well, you can if they're better.
No.
I promise you, Shai's gonna look so good in the playoffs this year.
And Ron, I'm here. I'm here for all of it. Yes, I am.
I'm certain about that. But
I am.
Damo, here goes that list for you. Can you see it?
Yeah. Am I here? Hello?
Yep, you hot.
Yeah. Okay. The most notable free agent?
Yeah, we can do
Tobias
top
Harris.
three.
Oh, man.
Which one?
Tobias Harris. That's the most notable free agent to me. What?
That's who you want. Where do you want him?
I feel like anybody would be lucky to have a guy like Tobias Harris. Same thing for Siakam if he doesn't resign. Nah, in all honesty, I'm taking away the players with player options who I see in situations where they will accept. So I do think Paul George is going to stay in. He's staying in LA. I don't think Paul George would be dumb to leave the Clippers right now. LeBron obviously would be the top name, but I don't think LeBron is leaving. So I doubt that's going to be a thing. So I'm not even considering him.
I think Bron is out of there.
That'd be a mean move. There's a couple of guys that can sway some things. Like I think Pascal is important to look at just because he got traded for what he got traded for, and he's unrestricted. Jonas Valanciunas, if he goes to the right team, he can change some things up too.
It depends on how much some of these guys are trying to make too, because I'm seeing the ages of some of these dudes. It depends on how much they're getting paid over how many years. But I will say, I was thinking about this yesterday, and I understand the optics of it. I know he's having a terrible year. I could see Klay Thompson being a very underrated signing for somebody if they sign him for cheap. Like if somebody is able to get Klay Thompson on a cheap deal.
Mars, you stay laughing. What does Klay Thompson look like on Milwaukee?
10 mil.
I need to. Klay Thompson for under 13 million.
That's crazy.
For 20 million, what does Klay Thompson look like on the Milwaukee Bucks? For 20 million,
he looks like Klay Thompson on the Golden State Warriors.
So no matter where he goes, it's over for Klay Thompson.
Wait, so if Klay Thompson's on the Bucks, you know they're still gonna have the same defensive problems, right?
But the problem is,
you just got light skin Malik Beasley at that point.
Hold up.
Yeah, well,
Okay,
I don't
Mars.
think that-
I bet you.
But what I'm not doing, Mars, is I'm not saying that he's the answer defensively. No, he's there to stretch the defense. That's what Klay Thompson. No, he's there to stretch the defense. A bigger version. We still need defense, no question about that. But he's there to stretch the defense, and I'd like to think that he can still shoot it today. I'd like to think that. And with a guy like Giannis, with a guy like Giannis who goes downhill, I'd like to think that creates more opportunities for him to shoot. So because of that, what does he look like on that Milwaukee Bucks team?
I love him on Milwaukee.
He's doing what Klay Thompson would do for $2 million.
Oh, Mars.
I think Klay's threat is way more dangerous.
So if we're being transparent, Mars, is Malik Beasley better than Klay Thompson today?
Value for money, yes.
Yes.
Is he better at basketball?
One's making 40 million, one's making.
But is he better at basketball, Mars? Forget about that.
No.
That's
if you want to say if they're both paid the same, who would you rather have? Sure, take Klay. But when one makes 2 and one makes 40,
yeah, but they'll take him for 10 though. To Damo's point, Damo, I wasn't with you, but when I think. Yes, I'm gonna tell you
what.
What.
Get is 10 million. Do you think the best?
I'm gonna tell you why.
No. I think that's gonna be the best thing he can get, or he's gonna have to play in China somewhere. Like I genuinely think after this season, I don't think so. I highly doubt Klay. And maybe Klay might take a 25 mil to go to Detroit, maybe. But I don't know.
No way. You guys got it wrong.
Klay not going to Detroit.
You guys got it wrong.
If it's about money, I don't think somebody's gonna offer Klay anywhere near a max deal, especially after the season he's having now, perspective wise. But I don't.
Klay is going to take anything. Klay is going to take anything
3 years,
for the perfect
$75
shit.
million. That's not on the table for Klay. That we're not doing.
I don't think it's not about the money anymore. Y'all playing with my legacy. Now I'm about to go win 2 more rings, and I'm gonna have 6. And I'm gonna go to the perfect situation where I can go and breathe and let my hair down, and where y'all don't gotta depend on me in this way. I'm gonna rehab this summer. I'm gonna get right. I'm gonna shoot. Hey, I'm gonna be ready to come back and shoot lights out for a championship contender. And when it's all said and done, when I got 6 or 7 rings and Steph still only got 4. Y'all gonna remember that. I promise you, y'all gonna remember that.
That's absolutely fair. And that's absolutely fine.
We're gonna have a different conversation.
Man, listen what we do with Ori. With Robert Ori, he's still a thing.
Is Klay Thompson worth 5 times more than Malik Beasley?
Yes, if you're talking about $10 million. Yes.
No, Klay Thompson's not worth $2 million, man.
You see what I'm asking if Klay is worth 5 times more than Malik Beasley.
Yes, if he's making $2 million and 5 times 2 is 10, right? Yes, Klay Thompson's worth $10 million.
Well, Malik Beasley's going to get more than $2 million next year.
Right? Okay, so
how much is he going to get?
So let's say Malik Beasley.
I don't know how much should he get. That's where this question comes.
Not as much as Klay Thompson.
So let's say Malik Beasley gets $8 million. Ain't nobody paying Klay $40 million. We all know that, Mars.
Is Klay worth twice?
Somebody's going to overpay for Klay.
How much more would you be willing to
Somebody's
pay
going to overpay.
Thompson over Malik Beasley? That's the question. How much more? If there's Malik Beasley on the table, how much more would you be willing to pay to get Klay Thompson instead?
I think the asking price. I think the asking price for Klay starts at 15. I think the asking price starts.
Then I think you should prepare
easily, and it's going to be way more than that. It's going to be 25, 30.
That's what I'm thinking.
His highest offer will be it doesn't matter. You're talking about Klay Thompson. I have seen players, Chill, Mars Damo, Ron Ox. We can all name players off the top of our heads that had a bad year that was a legend or a Hall of Famer that got paid. Mm-hmm. It's not that hard to do on 30 teams in the league.
Not to mention, Damo, how many teams?
Him? That's
not to mention
Magic.
He can't get paid.
The Pacers. Why not? I don't know. Somebody's.
Damo, you're the same one who told us.
No, I'm saying from the ownership standpoint, from the team standpoint. My bad, Joe.
Damo, you're the same one who told us when we talked about Zion's contract getting extended. There's a team that will trade for Zion because they looking at him going, well, what he was doing there, maybe he could do that for us. We could get that back. Well, it's the same logic with Klay. There's a team that's looking at Klay going, if we put him in our system, what we already doing, he might be the difference. We might not. We won't have to do extra stuff with him. We won't have to have him be just too much. We won't have to have him do too much. So if I'm looking at a team in the league, to your point, Damo, if we're looking at a team in the league, I think the Sacramento would love to have Klay Thompson on their crew. Definitely, Sacramento would love, even with Murray. Philly would love to have him on their crew. Indiana, he'd be great in Indiana.
The Knicks in the chat. I seen the Knicks in the chat. Showtime.
He would be great in Indiana. with Tyrese.
So what's the role you envision for Klay on these teams?
A vet guy.
18 to 20 minutes.
Ray Allen
off the bench, come out shooting. Klay just come out and shoot.
That's what he is, Mars. That's what.
How much are you willing to pay someone for 20 minutes of shooting?
15 to 20.
Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson. A lot. That name alone rings bells.
Mars, if he's in Indiana, I think that they're better.
They have Buddy Hield. They have Klay.
Now they get
Buddy's coming off. But Buddy's about to be
unrestricted. They're gonna replace Buddy Hield with Klay. So they're the same team.
Both of them are like you can never have too many shooters.
Okay.
I'm good.
I don't know how. I guess when you want to sub Buddy Hield out, you bring in Klay. I mean, yeah.
Now that I think about it, Houston would even be a bad location for him.
I love him in Houston. I do, Ron. I love him in Houston. Yeah, I definitely love him in Houston. Good to see you, top left, no doubt. But I love him in Houston, 100%.
That's just the thing. If you can look at let's just talk contenders. We go Milwaukee. We go Denver, Miami,
Cleveland, Oklahoma City. They would have him in Oklahoma. Mars, you've talked to me about number 3 being a ball handler in Oklahoma City. You've talked about Giddey being a ball handler in Oklahoma City. The problem is that he can't shoot, and that how he draws the defense. Well, take him off. Klay on that crew with the shot, with the way that Shai creates shots for other people, with the way that Jalen Williams gets downhill. How much more that would open up the offense for a guy like Klay Thompson being on that crew, plus being a vet. I like him in Oklahoma City also.
Yeah, for Giddey money. Yeah.
Don't forget, Mars. Don't forget Klay. Klay can go home. I'm sure he might take a couple mil less to go play for the Lakers. You know what I mean?
I'm not doubting he'll get a contract.
Clippers too. Klay wouldn't be bad for the Clippers.
Klay would be great for the Clippers. I know Klay's not the same Klay. I don't think he should get a max. I do think there are lesser teams that are willing to pay a little more. But I do think there's a contender out there that has $15-18 million that they're happy to give Klay Thompson, specifically teams like the Sixers and the Bucks. Those teams, even Minnesota, you know what I'm saying? You bring a guy like Klay off as your 7th man, playing, I wouldn't say maybe Ray Allen, maybe like Ray Allen in Miami, maybe something like that. Or maybe like Ray Allen in the last year in Boston. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that's where Klay is at right now. I don't expect Klay Thompson to improve anybody's defense. I don't expect Klay Thompson to be, 2019 or 18 Klay at all. But I think there's some teams that'll be willing to pay, and I think there's some teams that Klay can help for sure.
I don't know if these contenders can afford him, but if they can, I think he can be decent.
And just like Shaq was saying about the ring situation, I can see Klay taking a little less. You know what I'm saying? Because Klay's been paid. I'm not going to assume I know what his pockets are like. I'm not going to assume that I know how good his money management is. But I'm assuming Klay got a couple dollars tucked away. I think he might be willing to take a little less if it means some more rings, though, just to ensure that he's a first ballot.
But that's what I think he will have to do. That was my whole point about it. I definitely understand. I definitely understand that Klay can get a job somewhere. I know somebody's going to sign Klay. My only question is, how much do you think Klay is going to be worth? Because if Klay is still in the mindset, which I'm not sure if he'll be in this mindset in the offseason, but we seen in the middle of the season, he had to have a conversation with Steve Kerr about it being over. They talked about that. The run is done. So I don't know what mindset he's going to be in terms of trying to get paid. If he's still thinking he's anything 2025, like I asked, if you think he's making that money, is it coming from Charlotte? Is it coming from Chicago after they blow it up? Like, it have to come from a bad team to get something like that. Now, for contenders, if there is a contender that can get Klay for 18, 15, I think they will do it. I think so. That's what I'm thinking. And I think he would take that. But I do see a world where, because the narrative, because of everything surrounding Klay, and maybe even how he's feeling, I can see it where a lot of teams might venture somewhere else to get a shooter. If they're looking for Ray Allen, am I going to get somebody who isn't looking like they're in a slump and feel like it's over? Like, I just need a shooter. I understand the level of shooter Klay is, but I can get a shooter somewhere else for cheaper and put this money elsewhere. So I do see a world where maybe Klay is taking 10 mil to be on a contender because these guys are really strapped for cash. They want to build a contending roster, and maybe giving Klay Thompson 18 million to just be Ray Allen isn't what I want to do if I want to contend. I need defenders because I'm the Bucks. I need some creators because I'm whatever team that's trying to contend and needs a creator. So let me get that and Klay, not just Klay.
I 100% agree with that, Damo. 100%.
Fellas, we talked about Klay, but it wasn't a glaring free agent on this list that I'm trying to figure out what's going on with this free agent. And he's an unrestricted free agent. He's not on a good team. And I'm trying to figure out why they are holding on to him for dear life. And it is DeMar DeRozan with the Chicago Bulls. Why have they not pulled a trigger with DeRozan? Because I don't see him re-signing with them. And I don't see them needing him to re-sign. And on top of that, I'm getting strong vibes that they need to rebuild. I mean, I think we all know that they need to rebuild. I'm trying to figure out why they haven't traded him yet. What he's an unrestricted free agent. Chill. What is going on?
Well, first of all, I think DeMar DeRozan. I mean, how many more years do you think he got left at this level? I think he'll be 35 going into next season. So, with that being said, is he really going to help your team? He's not playing. He's not playing for a bad team, and no bad team is going to tie up serious money for DeMar DeRozan. So now, if you're moving him to a contender, in the words of Mars, what is he going to cost a contender? He's going to cost a contender over the next 2 years? Because I think at 35 years old, going into next season, he's probably got another 2 years left at this level. So what kind of money are you looking to spend on a guy like that, right? So when you're talking about a guy like DeMar DeRozan, I think that you've probably gotten the best years, and I think that his value has diminished a lot. So I don't think anybody has really been that interested in him.
I don't think his asking price is all that high. It can't be. It's like, and you got to understand. So the trade deadline's Thursday. I'm calling Chicago like, yo, I have this for DeMar DeRozan. You can take this, or he can just walk in the summer. What do you want to do?
DeMar's going to Philly.
You think it's over, Doc? You think it's over, Ox? You think he in
Philly? Yeah, he'll be in Philly before Thursday's over.
I don't mind Philly.
I'm not sure who. I think it's just whoever. It might be just some expiring contracts.
Marcus Morris and KJ Martin and them. Daniel House. Yeah.
He'll be in Philly because Philly has to keep competing. If the fact that with Joel's knee, like we talked about this, Chitchat. If he can get that surgery now, get in the pool and be ready for mid-April when playoffs come around, Philly got to go get DeMar right now and try to stay in the six seed area, and they got to try to make a run. Philly is no longer in the position where they can wait till next year and trust any process. They have to go right now, and they got to give it everything they got. So I do think DeMar DeRozan will end up in Philly, and if he doesn't end up in Philly, if Philly doesn't do anything, then I'm done with that franchise all the way around. They get no more leeway, no benefit of the doubt. They have to go get DeMar DeRozan right now.
I think they 3.5 games out the play-in tournament as of right now, and they 4-11 with Joel Embiid out the lineup. So it's not ridiculous to think that they could fall out of the playoff picture. That could very well happen if they fall out the playoff picture. Now, with losing Joel Embiid, that's a huge blow because y'all dudes. I get so sick of hearing that next man up logic. That logic makes me nuts, man, when I hear that. Yo, how do you replace a 35, 11, and almost 2 blocks? You don't replace that. And I'm not going to be able to replace that with DeMar DeRozan, especially when I'm getting off of the role players that you're talking about, Mars, because the role players that you're talking about, they integral to what we're doing with Joel Embiid. So now what I'm doing is I'm getting off Joel Embiid because he's hurt, plus I'm getting off these role players too. How are we going to stay competitive?
I don't think Embiid's playing this year.
I don't think he is neither. I think he's done.
Maybe not.
I don't think he is neither. I don't.
I think he's going to do everything he can to try to do whatever it takes for him to come back as soon as possible. But I personally think he should be done. Right. I think he should shut it down. They should shut him down.
Well, they said they'll be reevaluating him again in 4 weeks. So we'll kind of see. We'll know a whole lot more in 4 weeks. But Mars, why don't you think he's coming back?
Because of my knowledge of meniscus tears, if you get surgery, it normally takes you a month to start walking without crutches. He has to play NBA games in 2 months. No, I don't think that makes sense. I'm gonna be honest. If you're gonna try and get him to play in the playoffs, you might as well have told him to not get the surgery. Because if you're telling him he has to get surgery, recover well enough to play playoff games in 2 months, you're basically telling him you're not going to be healthy anyway, but we still need you to play. So I don't, unless they can get to like the second round without him, and that gives him what, 2.5 months, maybe. Even then, no, I would just this season's done. Hopefully he has a healthy meniscus next season. We go again. Because if you play him in the playoffs, I think that's just a bad job. And if he's willing to play, he doesn't respect his career, in my opinion.
I don't think you tell him to play out. Like you're right about that, Mars. I don't think you pressure the guy, but I think a guy like Joel, somebody that's tried to play through so many injuries, I think he's trying to get back. And depending on what type of surgery, if it's a meniscus repair or if they're just going to clean it up, like because when they got the little thing just hanging off, the meniscus just splits and they just go clip it, and it's usually like a 6-week to 8-week recovery. So that is cutting it close. So, but what I'm saying is too, just in case, I'm more so saying go get DeMar DeRozan as a just in case situation. You know what I'm saying? Don't just let the whole season go. Just let's see what happens. Get DeMar DeRozan. It's an insurance thing. Let's see what happens, and if he could come, let's say we get DeMar and get to the second round.
DeMar can get you. DeMar and Tyrese Maxey with Nick Nurse coaching can get you a series against a favorable matchup.
With Tobias Harris, especially
with Tobias. I mean, you get a favorable matchup. Maybe for whatever reason you run into like the Orlando Magic. Maybe you run into the Pacers. You can maybe get one.
They got the Knicks in round one.
They're packed up if it's the Knicks. Yeah, they're packed up.
Okay.
If Indy can move up, if Indy can move up, and you got Indy in round one, you can get that series. I'm not saying you'll win, but you can get that. And then it might be worth the attempt. And then that's probably the ceiling. But
I'm just thinking from the aspect of what playoff basketball is. Mars, to your point, you're just talking about it's going to take me a month to just start walking. I ain't on crutches no more. What's one of Joel Embiid's biggest problems in his past? Him being in shape. So that means I got to get in shape too. So I'm going to have a month to get in shape to actually just start not even running, walking. So that's another part that I'm having.
Well, it depends though, Chitchat.
On what?
It depends on what type of surgery it is, because we don't know the extent. It could just be a simple cleanup. It might not be a whole meniscus repair. The repair and the cleanup is just two different recoveries. So he can be in the pool, what I mean, like a week or two after the surgery. So, what I'm saying? If he's swimming in the pool, doing some of that, what I mean? So but if we go the route like what you're saying, if it is more serious, and I feel you for sure.
Right.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie. The Sixers are cooked. And for that reason, I'm out.
Damn.
Chill, do you hear this? We're gonna be dealing with this again next season. Chill. Do you hear what I'm?
I'll be back. I'll be back next year.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna. Yeah, it's getting like I can't blame Embiid, but he's a what if at this point. Like there's not been a healthy postseason run once.
Well, he started out like Damo brought the point up a couple of days ago. He started out like this. He missed his first 2 seasons. So it's not like he came into the league and he was rolling and then all of a sudden he started breaking down. This is who he was right from the beginning. And then we saw him become elite, but then we also saw him break down. So, I mean, maybe this is who Joel Embiid is. Add that to the fact, Ox, that this is the same knee. That's the problem that I'm having with. This isn't like this is a shoulder or a different knee or an ankle. This is the same reoccurring injury. So the thing I'm worried about is, let's just say it's just a cleanup. I don't want to risk that because what happens if he gets hurt again in the playoffs and it becomes more serious? I don't just lose him for this year. I could lose him next year too.
That's a fact. I wouldn't. I don't know what to do. It's a tough situation for Joel, for Daryl Morey, for the ownership over there. It's a tough situation for everybody. So that's what I'm saying. Like at the least, go get DeMar DeRozan. You know what I'm saying? And try to make a run. And then get ready for next season if Joel can't come back. You know what I'm saying? Because just like you say all the time, it takes time for these guys to acclimate. So let's get DeMar DeRozan in right now. and let's get ready to restructure this contract at the end, or sign him because he's a free agent. Let's get ready to offer him a couple dollars, and let's get ready for next season. Get him used to playing with Tyrese Maxey. Get him used to Tobias, and because I do think, let's just look past this year. Let's think about next year. You come back healthy Embiid after the surgery. Hopefully lose 15, 20 pounds. Getting that pool, and then you got Tobias, DeMar, and Tyrese. I personally like that lineup. And then on top of that, Mars, they go get Klay Thompson, like I was saying earlier. That's nasty. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like that team. And I might have to, you know what? I'm gonna have to get on board with that team.
Do you think they bring back Tobias? So you think they bring back Tobias this offseason?
Unlike this dude right here, who's out?
Oh, because he's a free agent too. You're right.
I try and bring back Tobias for a friendly contract.
Is it Deuces Ron?
But I'm a bit. I don't think he can be healthy.
Oh, I already know. There's only one thing you can do with Joel Embiid. If he's that set on winning, if he wants to win, and you're trying to win, what you do is do exactly what I said. If y'all gonna bring back Tobias. See if you can get DeMar. See if you can sign Klay for cheap. You build a stack unit.
You have to build a team that can make the playoffs without him.
Exactly. And I will sit down with Joel Embiid and I will say, listen, do you care about winning or do you care about your accolades and stats? Because if you care about winning and you buy into this, I will make sure to pay you for the time you did put in and for what you're going to do for us going forward with this new plan, this new regime. I will pay you max contracts or the most you could possibly make. And hey, man, we make whatever work if you're trying to win. Sit his ass down all season. I'ma sit him. He's playing once a week, twice a week. I am load managing. I'm paying the fines. I'll take the meetings with Adam Silver every time. I'll pay all the fines. I'll do all of it. Sit your big ass down. Practice your ass off. Rehab all year. We're going to keep you healthy. Pull a Kawhi Leonard. We're going to keep you healthy.
Jonathan Isaac minutes.
When you get to the playoffs, we're going to unleash the beast. The beast of the East. I promise you. You will play 48 minutes a night if you need to in the playoffs. But you are sitting down for 82 games. You're sitting down.
The only time he's been healthy in the playoffs was the bubble. We know there was a 4-month break. So, do with that information what you will. The only time he was healthy in the playoffs was the bubble. His whole career, he hasn't been healthy in the playoffs. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think it's possible. And it's sad because he's really good at basketball.
Yes, he is.
Really, really
excellent
good at basketball.
Yes, he is.
He already got one MVP. You good? You got one. You straight.
The Orlando Magic. The Raptors.
Are you looking for new landing locations? New teams?
Maybe the Hornets. Okay, see what's happening. Probably not San Antonio.
For Joel?
Memphis. Memphis.
Ron is talking about himself. He is talking about himself.
I was confused. He said Charlotte. I don't know what he was doing.
No,
talking about himself.
I'm talking about locations to ship his big 350-pound ass to. Okay. Hey, the process is over. It's done.
Now I will say this.
I just told you this.
I've been said that. I've been said that.
Morris, how many times we got to tell this
man? I've been said that process was over. I've been said that.
Oh my god.
Pack it up. Give me all your picks. Desmond Bain. Maybe I'll take Jaren Jackson.
You think Memphis giving up Jaren Jackson? You think Orlando's giving up Paolo? Are you crazy?
I'm bugging with that. Whoever has the number one pick is who they probably should look for. Honestly, the best case scenario for them, Memphis mess around and get the number one pick. You be like, hey, look, give me that pick. Give me Gigi Jackson. Give me all of your picks. Give me any other kind of money that we can. That's not obviously, Desmond Bain and Ja, obviously, and Triple J. Give me your picks, your young guys. Let me get Sar. Because at that point, you can still you got Maxey still. You can still try to bring back a Tobias Harris. You will have a competent team in the East. It is Tobias a new era.
Get shipped to on the first thing smoking. And they both going to be on the same flight.
But then you'd have to move Tobias now. You'd have to move Tobias now.
I'm going to say you have to move him now. You can't wait. He's a free agent.
Tobias is free agent. You'd have to move him now.
Hey, chill.
Yep. It's deuces. You out.
So you blowing it up if you really. You blowing
it up. All right, if you blowing it up, then I mean, hey, try to
35 and 11. This is the post that's holding up.
I'm not mad at blowing it up. I'm just saying they got. I mean, you just said, is Nick Nurse trying to coach another rebuilding team?
No, he is not.
That's why I was saying I'm not trying to do a rebuilding team. I'm trying to keep a team that's still set up to get future assets and bring on young guys, but still compete and contend. Well, not contend, but compete now at least. At least give Nick Nurse a competent team to build like a foundational team. You still have a young star. You will still have a veteran role player, role player in Tobias Harris. You bring on Sarr as the next young big that you're going to get. Replace the injured not old guy, but the Joel Embiid, the old regime big. He gets shipped out. You draft Sarr. You have your next big man. There you go.
You said Gigi Jackson, right?
Oh yeah, and Gigi. Shout out Gigi.
Hey, Tobias.
It's deuces.
Hey, you know what I tell the Nick Nurse too?
Deuces.
No words.
Deuces.
You gonna fire the coach?
He's out.
In a hypothetical situation where the Warriors miss the playoffs and get the number 1 pick, are we approaching for Joel Embiid?
Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody, B Pods.
I don't think they're in that number 1 overall pick.
Chris Paul's contract. Yeah, Chris Paul's contract.
Chris Paul.
And the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah, and the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah, they would do that for Joel.
I think Philly should do it. The Warriors shouldn't do it. If I'm the Warriors, nah.
You don't go all in one more time.
I'm talking about the very.
If I go all in, I'm going all in on somebody I know is going to be there at the end of the road. Unless they're about to adopt the philosophy of sit his big ass down. If you're not,
but who all in is as high upside as Embiid if it works.
That is just
so big. This is what I'm saying though,
because everyone knows all in DeMar DeRozan, like
right.
I mean, I ain't gonna lie. Hey, listen, if I'm trying to go all in, I'm gonna pick up that phone. I'm gonna look at the phone book. I know I ain't used the phone book in a long time, but I'm gonna look. I'm gonna see what is the Milwaukee area code. I'm gonna throw everything I can to try to get Giannis. What?
Let me ask you the.
Okay, we saying anything. Okay, we saying anything.
But if the Warriors get Joel Embiid, all right, the minute that news breaks, I'm punching the closest person to me. Like dead. I'm talking about straight in the jaw. I don't care who it is. The closest person to me. I'm gonna be pissed.
I got a solid location of a team that has a lot of good young players. In a mix of some vets. Hello, Alper and Sangoon.
Wait, what?
How are you?
Sangoon.
Yeah, how are
you?
No.
Hey, but Damo,
I was thinking you want Fred VanVleet? Joe Clando?
Hey, Fred.
I'll give you the Brooklyn picks.
Fred, the Brooklyn pick. Cam Whitmore. You get it from Houston. You at least.
I'm gonna be honest. Jalen Green would be in that trade. Like certainly he'd be.
That's
perfect. You have to.
Jalen Green would be in that trade.
I would do it for the Brooklyn pick, Jalen Green and Cam Whitmore.
Chill out on Cam. You're not getting both the scores. You get one of them. Hey, and they will give up Jalen Green.
I need both of them, and y'all.
You'll get Fred, Jalen. You'll get Fred. But we got 3. We got 24, 26, and 27 Brooklyn picks. Wait, we have the Cooper Flag pick. I'm just saying. So we'll give you 3 Brooklyn. We'll give you 3 Brooklyn picks. Fred VanVleet. Jalen Green. Yeah, that's it.
Zen Master, I sell hella used cars. I do that.
And then you run Sengun at the 4. You have Joel at the 5, and then you have Bari, Tari, Cam Whitmore, Amen Thompson, Ime coaching.
Yeah. Hey, I like it. I really.
I'll be watching very fondly from OKC.
All right, y'all. We got a gang of super chats, so let's go ahead and make this happen. If you're in here and haven't liked the video, you already know what to do. I don't got to tell you what to do. Playback today: the Rockets pre-Joel Embiid trade versus the Pacers post Pascal Siakam trade. We will watch that today. It will be me and none other than top left right now, Mr. Mars Blackman. That will be a good time. You make sure to tune in at 6:45 Eastern time, 3:45 Pacific time. We will be on there. Right from the top, Mr. Steele said, chill. Think about the OU money, about my Cavs because we better than Orlando.
I forgot you guys said that.
Yes, we do. I'm gonna have to give it to Big Ox though.
For the Warriors?
Yep. I'm gonna have to it's gonna be just like this. Whoop, whoop. There you go. Because I don't think they make the playoffs. Don't.
Brunson's disciple said, I respect the Cavs. Respect the Cavs for what? Knicks are better. Mitchell is also a choker. Jalen Brunson is better than him. You can't tell me 6 players in the NBA better than Jalen Brunson right now.
Mars, don't
to the finals.
Mars, don't do
am
it.
Am I bugging,
Mars.
or is this the same guy who sent the super chat yesterday saying he feels bad for Brunson because Knicks fans were saying they're gonna make the finals and they're putting
this is Knicks, Mars. I'm telling you, don't get
then
sucked
today
into
he's
it.
the one saying that.
Yes, Mars. This is Knicks fans.
I guess.
This is Knicks fans, Mars. This is who they are. This is who Knicks fans are. So what can I say, B? That's who Knicks fans are.
Shout out to Brunson's disciples.
They're going to the NBA Finals this year, and when Brunson, not this year, but give it another year, 2 years, when Brunson has a couple of stretches where he's not very good, they're going to be outside with pitchforks and fire, talking about trade Brunson, get him out of here. So that's all I'm saying, Mars.
I'll do Brunson for VanVleet.
Almighty Lambo said, I love this title. By the way, Trae Young is on a tear. Everyone who robbed him of his all-star should have their voting license revoked.
I think he finished third in voting in the East. Second, I'm sorry. Yeah, so it wasn't like he...
It was the media and the players who ain't vote for him.
Right.
Everyone else voted for him.
Mm-hmm.
And now all the players are going to feel it. Vengeance Tour. A good old Vengeance Tour. Nothing like it.
Mm-hmm.
Teflon Gunsmoke said, Ron, that homie in the club, whispering in your ear, if any motherfucker touch you in this whole club getting cleared out.
Can't go nowhere with this dude. See how many chicks in here, yo? Like, the vibe is so dope in here. My dude Ron about to screw it up, yo. Man, I'm trying to get with Honey over here. Ron in my ear talking about, yo, see that dude over there eyeballing me? I ain't paying no attention to him. I'm too busy trying to get my homegirl over here. Man.
All right, when our Lil John come on, watch your elbows.
Here we go.
Savion S said, Suns need to go get Tyus Jones.
They not. Washington ain't giving him up.
Do the Suns have the picks to get him? I don't know. I don't keep up with teams' picks.
Winter said, have you ever thought about it this way? Luka is better than Dirk was at the same age. Don't use the years in the league. Use the age. When Gil put it that way, it made sense on what J Kidd was saying.
Well, he just said he's better than Dirk. He never said the age thing.
You just said years in the league.
He never even said years in the league. He just said he's better than Dirk was. So he's talking about 31-year-old Dirk, 28-year-old Dirk, 29-year-old Dirk, which I'm not saying I agree or disagree. I'm just saying that's what he said. That he wasn't talking about age.
Lieben Ahmed said, Nick Nurse and the Bucks messed up for getting him to Milwaukee. It would have been a perfect relationship.
Was that
Giannis?
Giannis. Because Nick, that's what I heard, Ox. I heard that Giannis didn't want Nick Nurse. And I think that one of the main reasons why is because Nick Nurse was going to take the ball out of his hands. And I think that was his problem. That was his biggest problem. He didn't want to play for Nick. It wasn't because of the defense, because Giannis plays defense anyway. I think that he was going to take the ball out of Giannis's hands and not let Giannis be what he wanted to be on the wing and on the perimeter, taking the ball off the backboard. I think he was going to try to do that. And I think that was one of the main reasons why Giannis wasn't feeling playing for Nick Nurse.
No, Giannis is doing Duck the grind. He want to go through Nick Nurse. He don't want to have Nick Nurse coaching him after Nick Nurse has beat him in the playoffs. He's like, nah, I need to beat Nick Nurse in the playoffs. That's what it's.
I don't want to play
Giannis
for
doing
Phil
Duck the
Jackson.
grind. Yeah, Giannis doing Duck the grind.
I want to play for Phil Jackson. Oh, keep Phil Jackson over there.
Yeah, I want to beat Phil Jackson.
Okay, kind of like Jimmy Butler. I can get with that.
Yeah. Shout out to Giannis.
MP13 said, the moment Joel goes to the Warriors, the entire chat is going to have to pull our money for Ox's bail because they straight right is going to whoever is next to him is going to be an assault charge.
You gonna crack? I was about to crack somebody's nose, yo.
Ox, you not going to like that?
I might be a Warriors fan again if the Warriors get Joel.
Hey, Mars, get out. Hey, Mars. Look. Here we go with the goofy. Okay.
It's impressive. No, chill time. It's impressive. I'm talking about no sentimental value at all.
Absolutely.
Boom.
The Warriors get Joel.
I know.
That's crazy.
No, that really is going to be OD.
Well, it takes so much.
If Steve Kerr makes Joel Embiid look like James Wiseman did, okay. Yeah. Then was like, okay, yeah, he can't coach bigs.
Damo, there is no conversation. If he makes him look like James Wiseman, we're done talking about Steve Kerr. We are finished.
It's impossible. Steve Kerr don't even have to do nothing. If they get Joel, he can really just sit back and kind of like, if he makes him look bad, then that's.
I mean, Steve Kerr is a Mark Jackson and Mike Brown merchant anyway, so it's just like he never had to do anything.
Oh Lord,
Mike Brown I can get with. Mark Jackson is crazy. Mike Brown, I can understand that.
Why is Mark Jackson ridiculous, Mars?
Because the team played nothing alike with Mark Jackson.
Right, he did change the offense. Yes, he did. I think it's more of a personnel issue more than it is than a style of play, because Steve Kerr completely changed up the way that they do things. Now, don't get me wrong, Steve Kerr switched it up and they won with that, but they was rolling with Mark Jackson too. They was making progress.
Yeah, but Mark Jackson would have never gave up on David Lee. And the biggest change, the team went from least amount of passes per game to the most in one season. Like the team, like they just completely changed everything. Their offense went from mediocre to the best in the NBA. Like Mark Jackson, I'm sorry, he didn't just give Steve Kerr a Bentley. He didn't. Steve Kerr, in my opinion, made that a Bentley. Maybe Mark Jackson had the pieces. Mark Jackson had the pieces of a Bentley that he put together wrong, and then Steve Kerr made it a Bentley. And I was saying, well, Mark Jackson.
This is what happened, Mars. This is what happened.
I'm not with.
He instilled. It's not. It wasn't the game plan. It was the confidence that he instilled in Steph and Klay to let them know that this was the best backcourt shooting duo of all time. It was the confidence alone to let them young boys know you can do anything you set your mind to.
Okay,
Mars,
from that aspect, sure. Motivation. Player coach,
right?
Cool.
He gave him the Bentley, Mars. He gave him the Bentley. He just Steve Kerr just put rims on it. That's all. He just changed the interior.
It wasn't a Bentley, Mars. I agree with you.
Hell yeah, it was.
Look, Chitchat. What he did was he just gave him the game and said, "Look, you are Mercedes.
He said you have Bentley potential. That's what
you are Benzes, but you can trade in. I'm gonna show you how to turn your Benz into a Bentley."
Makes sense.
It was just the game that he gave them.
Oh, he had a Bentley. It was a stock Bentley though. It wasn't a Bentley on the showroom floor. He didn't know
how to drive it.
Right. He changed the rim. He changed the wheels on the Bentley. He changed the interior on the Bentley. It was still a Bentley though. Absolutely, it was. What he did was Steve Kerr.
Chill and Ox. Is this the same Bentley that we were alluding to earlier this week that Clutch Sports gave you guys?
That was a Lambo truck. I thought.
Oh, okay.
Or a Ferrari or something. I've never even been in a Ferrari. So
he laid that. Being in a Ferrari is overrated too, by the way.
Right. Anyway, I'm too big for a Ferrari.
He laid down the blueprint. There's a reason why he called these two guys, the best shooters as a duo in NBA history. The reason why he did that was because that's the way that they were playing. Now Steve Kerr enhanced that because he changed the offense and made them better shooters. Because of the way the offense was, moving the ball, getting people moving, getting them better looks, things like that. They still were. It wasn't like he got with Steph Curry got with Steve Kerr. All of a sudden, he's this shooter. Well, he was already a shooter when he was with Mark Jackson. But the difference is that Mark Jackson put the ball in Steph Curry's hands a little bit more than he did with Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr has the basketball moving, which now makes them even better, which makes them better offensively because they're even more of a threat. But it was already a Bentley. You just changed it. That's all you did. You changed the interior. You made the interior better. You put better wheels on it, but it was still a Bentley.
What's the saying Gilbert Arenas says? You have a Bugatti engine, but you're driving the speed limit. That's what Mark Jackson was doing with the Warriors. He had the pieces to go 250 miles an hour. He wanted to drive 25. That's what was happening. I'm not giving him credit for the Warriors having the talent, and he made them decent. Steve Kerr made them a dynasty.
Get on the gas. I can get with that.
Alongside
I can definitely get with that. Get on the gas.
So that's what I was saying. I feel like Mark Jackson gets a bit too much credit.
Well, they were Mars. It wasn't like they were teetering on the playoffs. Like they had won a playoff series. They were a legit playoff contender. Were they a championship team yet? Not yet. When you get with Mark Jackson, I mean, when you get with Steve Kerr, who now changes the offense and makes these guys even better than what they already are. Now he gets, like you said, he gives up on David Lee got hurt, and now he gets Draymond Green in the lineup and adds that element to it. Hence, putting different wheels on the Bentley. Now this is even better. So, but what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to make it sound like Mark Jackson was just this tyrant of a coach who was holding these dudes back. Well, it's not that he was holding them back. It's just Steve Kerr just enhanced them a little bit more.
I just don't think they would have reached their potential with Mark Jackson. That's
just because they were just heathens and didn't want to go to church. Who don't want to go to church? Well, I know you don't. You're a heathen, Mars.
Yeah, I'm busy that day.
All right, y'all.
I'm definitely
Mars in the club on Saturday till 4 a.m. Don't want to get up and get to the church house.
I'm busy on that day because my 49ers in the Super Bowl. Eat it! Damo.
She'll tell in the church house watching the game on the phone. It's crazy.
I'm in the back.
Jumping out the pew.
Cussing in the back. I'm trying to focus on the sermon. Can't because my boys in the matter of fact, I'm leaving. I can't stay.
See, cussing in church is worse than me just not going. I'm
right. That's why I got to bounce, Mars. I can't stay here because I'm trying to watch my boys in the bowl game. I can't do that.
Shit, y'all need to go to my church, man. I'm talking about sundress galore.
Hip name Slickback said, Ron, how about Darius Garland to the Spurs? I feel like he'd be a great fit with Wemby, and the Spurs can give the Cavs good enough assets.
Call up Atlanta. Call up Atlanta and ask for Trey.
Darius Garland will be cheaper and do similar things. Like he's worse than Trey, but he does similar things in terms of getting Wemby involved. So if the asking price is cheaper, I wouldn't mind it. Keldon Johnson,
and maybe a little bit younger.
How old is Darius Garland? He's one draft behind, so he's 1 year younger.
20, I think he's 20, either 23 or going on 24 or something like. I don't think he's 25 yet. I don't think he's that old.
I'd still pursue Trey more if it's possible, but Darius Garland's a good little backup option. Keldon Johnson, Malachi Brandon, some picks.
I think Trey is the prize though. But if you can get Darius for cheaper, I can get with that.
Almighty Lambo said, "Chill, seeing the light?" Question mark.
What light is that? The Cavs. I'm the only one up here who's been on the Cavs train all season. I just don't see them like you do. You think that they go into the NBA Finals. I don't think they're that good.
I've been the Cavs hater this year.
Yep.
They look nice. They look nice.
Right. I don't think they're that good, but I've been talking about the Cavs. Mars is not down with the Cavs. I've been talking about them. I just don't think that they go to the NBA championship. No, I don't.
Yeah, I still like the Cavs. I was bigger on the Cavs last year than this year until like this last week, and then what they did to us last night. So I'm feeling.
They handled them dudes. They handled Sacramento last night. I did watch that. Yes, I did.
Moving along, Almighty Lambo also said OKC has Giddey. Convo over. Cavs better.
They won't have him on Thursday.
You think he's out, Mars?
If they're serious, yeah, he out. If OKC's serious.
What does OKC need?
A big. They need a big.
They need a 4 and a 5.
Yeah, a dirty work guy. They already got Chet. They need another dirty work guy.
They just need to wait till free agency and go get Jonas Valanciunas.
Do you think they have enough? Well, obviously they do. Do you think they could finesse? And this is super hypothetical. Finesse the pick for Sarr, and you have a Sarr and Chet front court because they have enough assets for. If I don't know if Sarr is the bona fide first pick, which I would think he is, but I can honestly see him not being one. I see him top 3. If you throw a boatload of future assets, Josh Giddey, another young player or two, whatever it takes, you don't think a team will come off that third pick?
It depends. It depends on the team. I think.
That means you got to do the trade. That means you got to do the trade after the draft lottery because you can't just predict who's going to happen.
Oh yeah, I'm saying after the lottery. So like, I'm not gonna say a draft night trade, a draft day trade, or trade right before the draft, whatever it is. They see whoever is in the top 3 situation, or probably try to throw it at the first pick to secure a fact that getting Sarr, but pairing Sarr and Wemby. I mean, not Wemby, Sarr and Chet. I feel like that'd be crazy.
Is Tank? I seen in the chat said we getting Jonathan Isaac and Wendell. I'm assuming Wendell Carter, right? Is he saying that for Josh Giddey? I'm not mad at that for Orlando. I'm not mad at Josh Giddey in Orlando at all.
What problems does Josh Giddey solve?
Hold up, for who? For Wendell and who?
Wendell and JR.
So Orlando get the worst player in the trade, but okay.
I mean, I get what you're saying, Morris, but Jonathan Isaac can't play. Like,
what problems does
Jonathan Isaac minutes been going up recently? They ramping him up. He gonna play 26 in the playoffs.
What problems do Orlando have outside of being young? I mean, they got a big and they got a big man.
Josh Giddey to a team that can't shoot.
They got a big man problem more than anything. That's what I think.
And they wouldn't want another point guard to go with the 10 other point guards they have over there.
They have to get rid of them, Ron. They have to get those guys out.
Yeah, they have to get rid of Markel. They have to get rid of Markel and Cole Anthony. That doesn't mean you then add.
No, they got to get better. I think Josh Giddey's better than them. I think Josh Giddey's better than Markel and Cole.
I'm fine with that, but he's not better than Jalen Suggs.
He doesn't. Jalen Suggs don't got to.
He's not a better defender than Jalen Suggs.
Jalen Suggs don't got to go.
But then what's the point? What's the point of getting? What's the point of?
Because he's better than Markel and Cole Anthony. That's why.
But he doesn't solve. He doesn't solve any of the problems they have.
He just solves being a better point guard than him. That's all I'm saying. He's just better than.
I mean, if your problem, if you think the problem is having Markel and Cole, I mean, I guess he solves that problem. Yeah, you don't have Markel and Cole anymore. Other than that, he does nothing for them.
Well, it's not just a one move situation. You don't just make one move and be like, okay, Orlando's ready to win. I'm just saying, solve this first problem. Get a better player than Markel and Cole. Just that's
I think there's better options than.
Probably so. Could be. What's
your issue with Josh Giddey outside of him playing with Shai? Because I think we ain't doing that. No.
Basketball. I actually think he's a good player. I just think he's in the wrong situation to be.
That's what I'm talking about.
And I think Orlando's another wrong situation. I think you have to put him on a team where you have the ball in his hands and you have ample floor spacing. Because if you put him off
Klay Thompson,
if you put him off the ball, you end up putting him in spots like the dunker spot or the corner. He's trying to find guys, but if no one's guarding him, it's very hard for him to create opportunities for other people. So you have to put him on a team that has the ample floor spacing that allows him to get into the teeth of the defense, collapse it, kick out, allows him to play up-tempo basketball.
Yeah, he just got to start playing down here.
He's in the wrong situation. That's why I say send him to Washington. Washington's a good fit for him. And I'm not saying that to just send him to a bad team.
That's cold.
I'm not saying that just to send him to a bad team.
No, big guy.
Washington is genuinely a good fit for him. You have a Lopter and Daniel.
Help them win 15 games?
It's not about winning. It's about giving him the opportunity to grow and develop as a player in a situation that's best for him.
He's help
21. He doesn't need to win right away. He's a young player.
What about Charlotte?
He becomes redundant next to LaMelo.
Right. That's the reason why he leaving Oklahoma City.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I think the thing with LaMelo is the same thing that comes with Trae Young. We gotta find a way to get these guys off the ball. I think getting LaMelo and developing that skill. This is on Charlotte again. I've always said Charlotte sucks at developing. You got to develop LaMelo to be something else other than just the guy that's going to solely dominate the ball because you're not going to win that way. And he's in the way that team's constructed and the way they're going, he's not getting any better doing this. He's just playing AAU basketball like he's been playing growing up. He's not getting better. So I think if you get a guy like Josh Giddey, and you already seen the emergence of a guy like Brandon Miller being able to score, that will honestly make LaMelo. I mean, you put somebody else to play, make, create, another guy to get the ball in his hands. He has to develop another skill and actually be a consistent shooter. Something else. Just get LaMelo. That's something that gets both players better. A situation with Josh Giddey growing and develop. I don't think it's too late. I don't think it's too late.
I'd be, well, the health with LaMelo is concerning, but I'd be willing to take a chance. But Washington's the first call I'm making if I'm OKC.
Cool.
But I'd consider Charlotte. But any lottery team that isn't the Raptors or the Rockets, and then like Golden State, obviously. So like, okay, really, it's just Charlotte and Washington. I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, it's really just those two, Charlotte and Washington. Yeah.
He just looks disinterested, to be honest with
you. Oh, Utah. I'd consider Utah. If it's the Jazz, I'd consider the Jazz.
What about Minnesota?
I don't know if it's me, but he does. Melo looks disinterested. He just does.
I mean, it's hard to be interested when your team's trash. But yeah, Utah, Charlotte, and Washington are the three teams. If I was interested in Josh Giddey, I'd be calling them if I'm OKC.
I think he'll be phenomenal next to Cat and Jaden McDaniels too. And then he got Rudy as a lob threat. You just said Daniel Gafford. He got Rudy as a lob
but
threat.
I don't think he's good enough in the half court to play on a contending team yet. That's all it is. I don't think a contending team wants Josh Giddey right now, which is why I was trying to send him to young teams, even though the Timberwolves are kind of young, but they're too good for them to try and build with Josh Giddey, in my opinion.
I think Josh is a little better than we give him credit for. Like with the ball in his hands, I think if he had the ball if he was able to actually play point guard, I've seen Josh and he looks good. It's just like when you're playing next to Shai, it's almost like playing next to Donovan Mitchell or playing next to D Book when you're the point guard on that team. It's like you can't get the ball for the majority of the time because this guy is so good that now he essentially becomes the off guard. That's the point guard, and everything kind of runs through him. But I like Giddey as a starting point guard. I think he'll make that team good
for the Wizards and the Hornets and the Jazz.
Nah, Giddey. I think Giddey is dope.
I'd love him in Utah. The more I think about it, and I know Utah is kind of funny because number 32, number 3. But I mean, besides that, like I genuinely think Utah is a great fit for him. So I'd be looking into that.
All right, y'all. Moving along, we got more super chats. MP13 said, "OG, don't subject yourself to playing 2K. The game is set up to dip into your pockets. I'm trying to save you money here."
All right.
Chill, you about to start playing 2K?
No, we just had a conversation about it, and I don't really know much about it. So
I keep saying
2K in daylight robbery is crazy. Yeah, it's
I keep saying I'm gonna get back into it, but I just haven't done it yet.
Nah, it's wild.
It's been a long time.
It's not even microtransactions anymore. It's just straight stealing.
Well, it's really been like 13 years, 14 years since I was playing 2K. Yeah.
You played
not like 2000, like no longer than that. It was like 2009 for real.
Okay. It's not.
We was playing on the Xbox.
Yeah, it's not even the same 2K. It's not even the same 2K no more. I ain't gonna lie. That was the good old days. Yeah. I remember those days of 2K. It's not that no more.
When Andre Iguodala was the bronze stopper,
and Rudy Gay was an automatic bucket.
I am tired. Me and Dub need to have a conversation because I am tired of the Rudy Gay disrespect. I can't handle it.
It's disrespectful about saying every time he joins a team they get worse.
It was bigger than it was more than that, more. So I just can't get with any more.
That's all it was. It wasn't more than that. That's all it was.
I can't get with the Rudy Gay disrespect.
KG was on 2K9. That's tough.
Chris Paul was on 2K. Oh, my fault.
Said to Shaq's point about Dirk and Chill has some countless times winning matters. Dirk was leading 50 to 60 win teams deep in 50 to 60 win teams deep into the playoffs every year.
Yeah, they was in the Western Conference Championship a bunch of different times in 2000s. Now, after they won the NBA championship in 2011, I mean, they didn't get out the first round after that.
It was not every single year.
I did not say every single year, Mars.
No, that's the super chat said every single year.
No, it wasn't every single. No, that's not what it was. It was not.
Dirk was so good. Like and I know you guys aren't up here. I'm not saying that, but for people to try to downplay how good Dirk was, is criminal. But Dirk was really.
He revolutionized the fourth spot. He revolutionized the fourth spot. 100%.
Doug, I think Doug, either like I haven't met many people who rate Dirk, in my opinion, fairly. You either overrate him or you underrate him, which is weird to me. But I will say the deep postseason run is not true. He made the conference finals 3 times. I'm just saying.
3 times that's quite a bit.
I was just.
He said every single year.
Yeah, no, that was wrong. That was wrong.
Yeah, that's what I'm addressing.
But are you counting? Are you counting 2011 when you said those 3 times?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know.
It's 05, 06, and 2011.
The 50 to 60 win part isn't a lie, though.
03, 06, and 11. Yeah, 03, 06, and 11 is the years he was in the conference.
And so this is the thing. I don't try to say, oh, you played in the weak conference or this or that. But in this case, I'm gonna have to lean on the fact of the teams that Dirk was going against too. Like he was taking fades from just we can talk about the power forward situation in general. I'm talking about Chris Bosh, Andre. I'm talking about KG, Tim Duncan, Rasheed Wallace, Chris Webber, Stoudemire, Pau Gasol when he like it was rough out there. It was rough. And
I'll finally make it out. I'll finally make it out. This big mammoth of a man finally gets out the West, and I make it out. And then I gotta see him in the championship in 06. Next to some young dude named Flash that's just all of a sudden he's him. He's not playing.
And then had to drop on him too, Ron. Had to drop on him in 06. It got walked down by Flash.
Like, got these dudes.
No, you don't. Down by D-Wade.
And then in 2011, we finally get it together, and I go back, and I got to see the dude who walked me down in 2011 alongside another guy who is a generational talent.
With a bomb squad.
You know what I'm saying? So
like, Chris Bosh.
I will probably say, I think Dirk might have had it the worst out of damn near all of those great guys. And the reason why I would say Dirk had it the worst is because I don't think he was as good as Tim Duncan, Shaq, KG, all of those guys. So it was already an uphill battle as is because you guys are better than me all around. But then I got to see you guys with another all-star every single year. Dirk had it rough.
As much as I want to agree with you about him having it the worst, because he probably did. Chris Webber. You know why? You know why Chris Webber had it worse?
Don't start.
All right.
Because the refs were against him too?
The refs were against him too? You want to hear it? No,
it's because the refs were against him too.
The NBA hates Sacramento, and they proved it time and time again. I'm going to leave it there.
All right. On to the next super chat. Pimp named Slickback said, when we talk about skills too, why do we consistently ignore the defensive side of the ball? If you are a liability on defense, you are lacking some skill.
That's why I don't like that. That's why I don't listen to the logic of Kyrie Irving is the most skilled player ever. I ain't listening to that. I'm not.
Y'all saw Kyrie last night.
Someone said offensively, is he the most?
Now offensively, now we having a completely different conversation. Kenny Anderson's the best ball handler I'd ever seen until I laid my eyes on Kyrie Irving. Kenny Anderson was the best ball handler that I'd ever seen. So now we can have a different conversation, Miles, when you add that one word into it. But if you take that word out, no, not doing that.
Well, chill. It's funny you say that. Because I got a super chat from Vaughn, and Vaughn actually asked, is Kyrie in the conversation for the most skilled player ever?
No.
He's in the conversation.
Offensively, I think he's in the conversation, but
yeah, he's in the conversation, but just due to the lack on the other side of the ball, it's just like, no, he's not the most skilled. But I think when you talk about it, you have to bring up Kyrie. The way he finished at the rim like that at like 6'1", 6'2", like it's remarkable the way he can finish at different angles, different spots on the floor, over 6'10", 6'11" guys. He can break anybody down. You can't guard him one-on-one for longer than 5 seconds. You know what I'm saying? You're done.
Not even that long. Not even that long.
Right. Right. Any big man gets switched on is food. I don't care who you are, from Bam Adebayo to Rudy Gobert to the worst defender, best defender you could think of. You're cooked. If you're on an island with Kyrie Irving, you are going to get rotisserie. I don't care who you are.
Is he more skilled offense? Is he the most skilled offensive player on the Mavericks?
Yes. And I'm not saying he's the best offensive player. When I say he's the most skilled, I'm saying he can do the most things. He can do the most things at a very high level. He has pretty much everything in his bag on offense. The only thing, and that's why I don't like to overrate. Like, being able to play above the rim is a good asset to have. It's great, and it can excel your game. But that's not always that doesn't make you better than somebody that plays under the rim. Because Kyrie plays under the rim and he finishes better than most guys that play above the rim. Ja Morant, for instance.
Well, if the other things are close, I think that could be the separator, considering what you can do. But if the other things aren't close, so when you're talking about Dirk, and I'm sorry, not Dirk, when you're talking about Luka, you're talking about Kyrie Irving. Well, okay, Kyrie Irving is definitely nicer with the pill, 100%. I think Kyrie Irving is a better shooter than Luka. I think he's better at the strike. Okay. With that all being said, is Luka a better distributor? I think Luka is a better distributor. I think Luka is better at I think Luka is overall in terms of playmaking. I think I give the edge to Luka because he's a little bit bigger. But with that also being said, I think that the separator with these two guys, in terms of offensive players, I think it would be the distributor, because I don't think that Kyrie Irving is the distributor that Luka is, and how much better that makes my crew.
Yeah. What I realized about Luka too is when you make Luka play team basketball and make him pass the ball early, that team's better. If you let Luka just dribble around, if you let Luka, I'm realizing like the more you let Luka just dribble around and score a bunch of points, you probably beat him. But once you make him get other people involved, I'm starting to think, let's stop blitzing Luka on that high pick and roll. Let's just let him cook our defender and just enjoy this victory. It's gonna get embarrassing when he gives you 45, 50, but you'll still win. So who cares, really?
A couple more super chats, y'all. First off, shout out Miles Green. Appreciate you for coming a member. Shout out all of our new members and old members as well. Shaq mentioned that earlier. Next super chat from Zero Just Vibing said, "Chill, you'll get smoked in Smash Bros."
I don't know what that is. I'm sorry, brother.
On what? On the N64 or what? What we playing this on?
I don't
definitely N64.
Y'all don't want that. Y'all don't want that.
Savant X said, "Y'all think Ticket is gonna pay that Victor bet?"
Yes.
Victor gonna average 25. You post All-Star break. Watch what Victor does.
Oh, right, man, Jalen's gonna be pissed.
He gonna lock in. Post All-Star break. Victor averaging 30.
What is he averaging right now? Y'all like 21?
I think so. Yeah, 21, something like that.
Hey.
James B said, "Yo, pass that, Damo."
I will.
Mm-hmm.
That's that.
That's actually what that clown with the goggles. That's actually what James B looks like too in real life. He's been on my he looks like that for real with them glasses and the bald head. Yeah, he looks like that for real.
Oh man, did y'all know James B? Like we were talking the other day on through the chat, and James B admitted that he's never watched the Detroit Pistons game this season. He's probably watched 2, so not never. He watched like 2 Pistons games this season.
I'm more of a Detroit fan than James B. Oh, James B.
Hey, James, me and Mars will be on playback today. You have the opportunity to get unbanned. We just need
crazy.
You just gotta tap our cash apps right quick. But I got you. Drink More Water said, "Will Embiid ever satisfy the 65 game minimum?"
Nah.
He has twice before.
Nah, he is not.
Anything nasty to get off the before? Oh, you just wanted to go up and say hi. All right. So Cole said Mavs 9-1 when Luka scores.
You muted up.
9-1 when he scores 40. Like he shouldn't have to score 40 in order for them to win games.
Yeah, but they lost that one game, so he's clearly not impactful.
That's just this year. Let's talk about all the last year too. That's because he got Kyrie.
You shouldn't have to do that in order for us.
Was the one lost against the Bucks like 3 days ago?
They had the Bucks 26 in the hole, 26 or 27 in the hole. I'm out on Milwaukee. I'm out. I am out.
I'm out. This time is
Open Gym is next. Y'all be sure to
put some respect on Rudy Gay.
I love Rudy Gay. Rudy Gay is one of my favorite players.
Mine too.
Bro, and it's just it's upsetting that he's always on a losing team. I don't get it.
That's OJ Mayo's fault. That was OJ Mayo's weak ass fault.
We'll see y'all tomorrow. We out.